All right, good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Victor Trevino, your mayor for the city of Laredo. We're here to give the recognitions for the persons that really deserve it, and we'll be calling them one by one and a group at a time. Then we'll take a picture back there. Recognitions and communication, 5 p.m. The mayor will be presenting the following, starting with the city of Laredo and Mayor Dr. Victor Trevino and council congratulate Alexander High School junior Hector Benavides on being selected the THSCA Super Elite Teams. The elite team consists of high school players nominated by current professional members of the Texas High School Coaches Association. The award recognizes student athlete across the state of Texas for their exemplary athletic achievements and in their respective sports. Hector Benavides was the only Laredoan selected for this award. Hector Benavides, please step up. And you want to say a couple of words?
Of course. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for all these people right here, my family, my coaches, and just my team. And we're getting ready for some more this coming up season. Thank you.
All right, congratulations again. Yeah. Then we get the family to the back so we can get a picture in the back. All right. Next would be City of Laredo Mayor, City Council congratulate Alexander School Varsity Robotics Team, which has won the Inspire Award and advanced to the World Championship for the first Tech Challenge. Now, this Inspire Award recognizes a team that best embodies the challenge of the First Tech Challenge program. The team that receives this award is a strong ambassador for FIRST programs and a role model FIRST team. Congratulations.
Thank you so much to everybody that came out. It really means a lot to us, all of the time and the effort. We know it's not just a team effort, but a coach effort. Thank you so much to Mr. Medina for all the time that you put in. Thank you so much to the parents, the siblings, everyone that puts all the time and hours just so we can put everything into this club, into our team, and we are so excited to be representing Laredo at the World Competition. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Let's go back to
scoot over? Right there, yeah. You guys don't come out. Or even BB, right? You're probably right there. Right there. Coach, you want to stand behind the mayor? Okay, look at me first, please, really quick. And lower your certificate. Right there, yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Right here with Lila, and then with your parents. Okay, you want to start over here? Give me 1 minute, buddy. Right here. Next. Right here. And the last one over there. You got it? Thank you guys. Congrats. Yes. Chief Rodriguez is not here yet. Pronto. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, okay.
All right. Next, City of Laredo and Council recognizes the South Texas Elite 12U, which recently traveled to Dallas, Texas for the Star and Experience Tournament of the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. This team was awarded Star Champs and presented with championship rings. Come on down, please. Councilman, you want to give some words?
You know, I just want to thank, well, the parents first of all, the coaches. There's so much time put into this. It's such great accomplishment. Uh, Kids, you keep going, keep striving. Thank you all for putting Laredo on the map. Laredo as a whole, we're glad you guys are competing in that in flag football and at that capacity. So once again, thank you so much, and to the public watching, we want to recognize this great football team, flag football team today. Thank you.
Coach, you want to say some words?
Thank you for everybody that came out to come and support us. It was a nice feeling knowing that we went to Dallas and came back with the championship. Thank you for the coaches who supported us and our parents and families, everybody who supported us. And thanks to my team for getting us a championship win. Thank you.
It's so important because to us, we just see the stadium on TV, and for you guys to actually play in it, it's so special. Here you go, Coach.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. these kids, they went out there and they brought back the championship. You know, they won it all, and they deserve it. Thank you all.
Let's go get a picture in the back.
Excuse me? Okay, now we'll go one by one, okay? Councilman, you want this one? Right there.
Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Okay.
Give me 1 minute, right over here.
This one.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, right over here. Right here.
1, 2, 3.
And last one. Yes. That we needed to.
All right. Next is State of Laredo, and council recognizes Maria Solis for her almost 30 years of service with the city of Laredo. And I think it coincides with National Library Week, so the award goes well in tune with your award. Thank you very much. All right. You say a couple of words?
It's really been an honor to work for the city of Laredo. I want to thank you, Mayor, and the city council for all support throughout the years. And I hope it continues, especially in these hard times that the libraries are facing. I'd like to thank my staff, who's up there. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish so much. And I'd like to thank my family. My boys are still on the way. They've had to miss a lot of home-cooked meals because I was here at City Council, so they had to fend for themselves. But thank you. It's been an honor.
Very good, and congratulations again. We'll go to the back for a picture. Right, next is City of Laredo and Mayor, City Council proudly recognizes Lieutenant Margarita Govea for her recent graduation from the prestigious FBI National Academy. This elite program, recognized worldwide, is a rigorous training and specialized curriculum, brings together law enforcement leaders to enhance their skills and knowledge. Why we respect this from Laredo. Congratulations, Margarita. A couple of words from the recipient.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Appreciate it. I wanted to thank my chief, Chief Rodriguez, for having granted me this opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime training, and I'm very privileged to have partaken in it. And it was a very long time away from home. I'm very glad to be back in the sunny Laredo weather. And I also want to say that I appreciate the sacrifice my department did by sending me away for such a long time. And everything I learned there, I will make sure to pass it to my department. I'm going to make sure that my department, my fellow employees, and my community benefits from this time that I was away from home. I appreciate it.
One more, last one. 1, 2, and very good. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
Next recognition. Certificate of recognition. Mayor and City Council hereby recognizes Andrea Reyes, United South Lady Panthers. In recognition of the United South Lady Panthers 2024-2025 5 PAT 30-6A District Champions, B District Champions, and Champions Regional Semifinalists, Sweet 16, with an overall record of 29-12 and district record of 12-0. Congratulations.
The City of Laredo, Mayor and City Council recognize from United South, Andrea Reyes for being selected 2024-25 TABC All-Regional Girls Basketball Team.
And any words?
to my teammates and my coaches for uh, just just for the support and bringing us all the way to here.
All right. Thank you.
Are you sure you don't want to come out of the picture?
Or can we have the girls here? Ready? Women, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Last one. No, we're gonna do United South basketball.
All right, next is City of Laredo, and Mayor recognizes the 2024-2025 United South High School Lady Panthers basketball team on their 5P30-6A district championship. Also, their by-district championship, area championship, regional semifinalist, Sweet 16, with an overall record of 29-12 and district record 12-0. Congratulations.
The City of Laredo Mayor and City Council recognize the United South High School Lady Panthers 2024-25 basketball team for obtaining a 5P 30 on the 6A district champions, by district champions, area champions, regional semifinalists, Sweet 16, with an overall record of 29-12 and district record of 12-0. Congratulations, girls. I believe we're one championship away from the Bulls. I think so.
Coach, a few words, please.
Right now, we'll do the group picture back there, okay?
These girls have worked extremely hard, and we're super proud of them. They've dedicated themselves to the program. We have about 11 seniors here that are leaving the program, but we have a lot of youth, as you can tell, and we're just excited for our future.
Let's go back there for a picture.
Yeah, girls, you can join me here if you want. Y'all can join me up here. Yeah, seniors. Half and half. We can do half and half. Coach. Y'all, well, no van a salir if y'all sit.
In the middle?
Where's your? It's a,
My mom's. I hold it like this and take these candles.
ready, girls?
Perfect. Now right over here. Right here.
Right here. Get it? I'll send it to you.
Right over here. Remember?
Amber.
Hey, how's it going? Congratulations. Yeah, right, we got it. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah.
Right, we'll give him a chance to leave. All right, next is City of Laredo Mayor and City Council congratulates J.W. Nixon High School Lady Mustang powerlifting team on achieving the incredible milestone, placing second in Region 5, which spans all of South Texas from San Antonio to Brownsville. Way to represent Laredo. Come on down. Here. And the coach, can we see some words?
Really appreciate this honor. We're very blessed, and it's just a great thrill to know that in Texas, all throughout the state, that Nixon's always mentioned as one of the strongest, and it's just because of the hard work of these young ladies. Our community is very supportive. Our administration, our athletic department, and the city of Laredo, and we really appreciate it, and we're really happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Let's go back there for a picture.
We're gonna go back there for a picture.
Can you, y'all? One minute. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Mr. Madonna. Right over here. Right here. Give me 1 minute.
Ready? 1, 2.
Okay, right here. Thank you. Are we good? Oh, thank you. Congratulations, legend. Yeah, he called me. I had a lot of
Right, next.
I talked to him on Friday.
City of Laredo and Mayor Council congratulates the Cigarroa High School robotics team, which advanced to the World Championship for the first Tech Challenge. So the Cigarroa robotics team is one of only 2 teams from Laredo to make it this far. Congratulations on your job well done. Come on down. Few words from the coach.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank everyone in the city for helping us out so much. We had a lot of support from all the council members and the city. I just want to mention that our team is also going to go to their 4th UIL state championship in May, and we hope to come back with another state championship. We've won 2 already in the past 3 years, and we want to make it 3. So thank you again, Mayor.
Congratulations. Let's go back there for a picture. Next recognition. Certificate of recognition. Mayor and City Council hereby recognizes Los Dos Laredos Binational Marathon in recognition for Los Dos Laredos Binational Marathon, a Boston qualifier, Ames and World Athletics certified, one-of-a-kind race in the world that starts in one country and then ends on the other one. And we have representatives from Los Tecos here. We have their mascot here. Congratulations. Couple of words.
Well, this is a great race because it's a 26.2 mile run that starts in Laredo, Texas, ends in Nuevo Laredo. I know I speak on behalf of La Caldesa. She is very appreciative of this race. This is a race that unites the best runners in both Laredo and Nuevo Laredo. This year, there were 6 Boston qualifiers. So this is the World Championships of Marathons. And they're basically given the opportunity to go run in Boston this next year. So congratulations. I think it's a unique race. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll go back there for a picture. All right, we have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have other recognitions that will be done during the council meeting. So we're going to have to start the council meeting. Nevertheless, stay here for the recognition during the meeting. And we'll proceed for the opening of the city council meeting. City of Laredo, regular city council meeting, council chambers, 1110 Houston Street, Laredo, Texas, April 7th, 5:30 p.m. Call the meeting to order. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll proceed for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Number 5 minutes, approval of minutes, March 17th.
Mayor, roll
Oh,
call,
roll
Mayor.
call, sorry. Let's proceed with a roll call. Mr. Secretary, roll call, please.
Honorable Mayor Dr. Victor D. Trevino.
Present?
Honorable Council Member District 1 Gilbert Gonzalez. Honorable Council Member District 2 Ricardo Rangel Jr. Honorable Council Member District 3 Melissa Cigarroa. Honorable Council Member District 4 Ricardo Rick Garza.
Here.
Honorable Council Member District 5 Ruben Gutierrez Jr.
Present.
Honorable Council Member District 6 Dr. Tyler King.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Perez.
I'm present virtually.
Honorable Council Member District 8 Alisa Cigarroa.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Secretary, also Miss Melissa Cigarroa, Councilmember District 3 is present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Now let's proceed to approval of the minutes, March 17, 2025, and March 24, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved, motion passes. We'll proceed with citizens' comments.
Mayor,
Yes.
would you accept a motion? Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry.
All right.
He's coming on time.
All right, we have 3 so far, starting with Angel Rivera.
City Council,
Afternoon.
I'm here again to bug you about my idea in turning that, old federal building, one of the floors into a tourist attraction. And I wanted to let you know that I want to add I've talked to some friends of mine who know plumbing, and another one that knows electricity, and they're wanting to teach basic of those two trades. Aside from having dances for the tourists, more than just the people from Laredo to go to, having Saturday dances like they do in Monterrey. I've been going there for the last 30 years, and on Sundays they have the whole place packed. And I want to have that for the cities, citizens, and also for the tourists who are visiting. I want the tourists to leave Laredo with a positive attitude and to talk about what their experience, aside from all the collectibles and things that I have, because I have collectibles that will last a year to sell, and then I'll give a percentage of all the sales to the city, and also teach all the kids about Laredo. I got books that people will be able to read and learn about Laredo and Webb County. That's what the kids will be learning and passing that on, to their comrades, so they can learn what we have accomplished in the last, let's say, 20 years. I've been here 30 years, and so I want to be able to do a positive talk about everything that happens in Laredo. And I think that's the ideal place, because not only the parking across from El Metro, but all the restaurants around, it would be perfect for the tourists to have a place to go. There's soft music throughout the day, and I will be teaching all the kids about what's happening, and keeping the kids up to date on what is happening, so that they can pass that on to their comrades. I appreciate your time and your consideration in this endeavor, because I think it would be ideal for tourists to go to. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Sister Rosemary Welch. Sister Rosemary Welch? Okay.
First of all, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, the honorable group. And I'm just here, I'm here because somebody told me we were going to talk about the border wall again. And I guess it makes me sad in the fact that I thought we've discussed this. I think we know that we're a safe city. Thanks to all of us in this room. Thanks to everybody. Our community is safe. I'm just not sure why that issue keeps coming up. So maybe somebody could enlighten me on that. And somebody actually told me, when are you going to stop talking about it, sister? When are you going to stop going to the meetings and discussing the no border wall? It's going to happen. And I guess it made me sad. I went to something on Saturday, and maybe this is too political, where it said hands up. And we only got the finger 3 times. You know, people drive around. Ooh. Anyway, it was a peaceful, wonderful agreement. And someone asked me, why was I there? And what my response was, at 80, going to be 81 soon, when bad things are happening, good people have got to stand up. And I'm just asking you, let's really rethink, why are we doing this? It's a slippery slope. You give a little piece away, and then the next piece away, and then the one of it, we all say how much we love Mexico and how much we love the Mexican people. And we invite them over here for all of our different activities. Oh, WBCA is wonderful. And then we're going to put up any semblance of a wall. What does that say to them? So I'm just asking you to please consider it very carefully. I'm not a politician. I'm a Sister of Mercy who's been here so long. I consider myself from Laredo. Nací in Springfield, Missouri, pero soy de Laredo. So thank you for listening to me. I'm very proud of you all, but I hope you vote the way I want you to. I shouldn't make a joke about it, but we've got, when something bad is happening, good people have got to stand up. And I think this is the time that we all have got to stand up. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you. Jesse Herrera.
Some call me a poet, some call me the dude, but I've always been Jesse G. Herrera. Anything you might have heard about me is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the guilty. In these extremely volatile and tumultuous times that our future as a democratic nation seems in peril, we are here exercising our constitutional rights to petition our local government. Let us be an example to our federal government that we still believe in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the words, "We the people," and that this system of government for over 200 years does work. In the face of the juggernaut of Big Brother, we, the common people of this community, have come together to ask that no land be sold or lent out for the purpose of a border wall. Not 1 inch. Remember Shelby Park. Big Brother is a Trojan horse. Remember Shelby Park. No, we don't want the militarization of this community at peacetime. Remember Shelby Park. And long, long after Big Brother leaves, the dinosaur footprints of his wall will remain for years and years in our environment, in our community. Remember Shelby Park. Make us an instrument to do what is right in our country, for our city, and for our children. Let us always see the river as Tomas Sanchez saw it, no border wall. Gracias.
Juan Avila.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the City Council, Honorable City Manager, and other staff. I heard your comments, Mayor, earlier today, and it seems like we're getting cold feet on the proposition to get a bond out. And I think you're on the right track. I hope your colleagues feel the same, even though I will say my respects to the Laredo Police Department Chief and all his staff for a wonderful job that they are doing. Black eyes are always going to happen. We're not all perfect, but they do need the space. They do need all that. Councilman Gutierrez, you know that. They need the space. And we all know that. Firefighters, former Chief Landine, he knows they need the space. They need trucks, they need ambulances. We need all this. Yes, we do. But like I stated in the first time, and I'll state it again, let this man get his 100 days in office, stop signing so many executive orders before we make a commitment to the city of Laredo to get us a bond. We are not ready. We are not. Please open your eyes. Councilman Cigarroa, we need help downtown. Councilman Cigarroa, you and I have spoken. We are not ready. Councilman Rangel, I have spoken to you as well. Dr. King, I gave you my feedback. We are not ready, ladies and gentlemen. Open up your hearts for these people of Laredo. Open up your hearts for Hamilton Hotel, former Hamilton Hotel. Those people are in dire need. Those people sometimes don't have AC, sometimes don't have heat. Where is your hearts? The same way you go out there and knock on those doors asking for that vote. Hey, voten por mí. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring the sun down. I'm going to bring the clouds down for you. I'm going to do all this. And then we turn around and do a 360 on them. No, don't do that. We are not ready for this bond. The same way you go out there and knock on doors asking for that vote. And Mr. Neb, you are so much responsible for this bond that you need to look at the citizens. You're not from Laredo. You don't know what we have suffered here in Laredo. You don't know not even half of what we've gone through here in Laredo. But I do know that you had a good time up in Washington at 2 o'clock in the afternoon putting yourself on Facebook that you were enjoying spring break, which is great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But it was work time. It was work time. You're on citizens' time. You're on their payroll. You're not on your own payroll, sir. You're not on your own payroll. You're on the citizens' payroll. And we have to look at this, Mayor. You are the lead of the pack. Put your feet down and look at this facts. We are not ready for a bond. Let's give it till November. Let it rest a little bit. Let this man stop doing so many executive orders before we find out how much funds are we losing. How much have we lost already because of the tariffs? How much? Ballpoint figures. And if you look at that, then you're going to say, este mexicano está loco, viene todo el tiempo a echarnos, pero no les echo mentira, les estoy diciendo la verdad. Gracias y buenas tardes.
All right, thank you. All right, what we need to do is get the recognitions started so we can alleviate a little bit of the congestion. Oh, you have one? Oh, it's an item 55. So we'll wait for the item 55. Oh. You want to speak now or you want to wait? Okay, come on down.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for that. And good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council and Mr. Neb and your staff. My name is Trisha Cortez, and I'm here with the Rio Grande International Studies Center. And I am here, Mayor, to talk about item number 55 and to urge you to vote against selling or giving away any city lands to the state for the potential construction of border fence or border wall. I just want to remind everybody that in one of the greatest battles in Laredo's nearly 270-year history, our residents, along with this body, proudly and courageously mobilized to defeat the disastrous border wall after we were told 1,000 times, this is a done deal. Pero aquí en Laredo no nos rajamos. Today, tonight, for you, it's only about 2 slivers of land. But tomorrow, it will be the whole riverfront. Because once they're in, there's no negotiation, no compromise that will serve the best interests of our community. And in this instance, dealing with the future expansion and growth that will be needed in and around Columbia Bridge. The wall will carve a massive path of destruction through Laredo's homes, ranches, public spaces, churches, and parks, and divide us from the source of all life here, nuestro río. In response to this threat, Laredo residents that include military veterans, faith leaders, artists, landowners, and attorneys, and city council members united together in such a beautiful, unexpected moment and rose up to defend our community. As a result, Laredo successfully stopped 71 miles of wall from being built and halted from the beginning the transfer of our historic public and private lands into government hands. We ask you, Mayor and City Council members today, to rise up again as you have before, bravely, and defend our lands, our river, our history, and our future memories. We ask that you continue to demonstrate Laredo's fearlessness and stand with us to honor our river, cherish our history, defend what is sacred, protect Laredo for our families and for all of our future generations. We ask this of each and every one of you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one last citizen comment on the same item 55, and we're on the same topic. Margarita Araiza, would you like to come?
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members and city staff. My name is Margarita Araiza. I'm here to speak against item 55. Many of you might know that in Spanish colonial times, the King of Spain gave away land grants to the first settlers here. leaving out, of course, the native tribes that were coming through here. But to the Spanish colonists that came here, they gave out the Spanish land grants called porciones. These were long strips of land that all had river frontage. And that was considered the most valuable land of the city. Of course, it gave access to the water. Water is life. That is still the most valuable and treasured real estate that Laredo has. And instead of handing it over to someone who wants to build a 300-foot barrier, a horrible affront to both sides of the river, we need to do everything we can to prevent that from happening. And I'm appealing to you, as I did the last time when we were here about a month ago. I don't know how this item came back. It was clear at the time, and there were a lot of very passionate people speaking against it, as I did then. It was clear how much this means to all of us. I said then, and I will say again, with all due respect, it is not yours to give. It's not yours, Mr. Neb, to negotiate away from us. This is the most valuable and treasured land. This is the reason our city was founded here. I appeal to you to look to the future generations and look them in the eye and say, I stood up for you, as your ancestors did also. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed with whatever recognition we have left. Which one do we have left?
Yeah. Just me.
Okay. All right. One more citizen's comment before we go to recognitions. If she's present, he's present. David Patricio. No, not present. Okay.
Do we have other recognitions, Mayor?
No, just
No. All right, so we'll proceed with the recognitions that we have pending. Which was?
We have RXC Running Club. Then we have United Day Boys Basketball, Rick Laurel, and Juan Lopez.
All right,
Okay, Mayor.
go ahead.
Yeah, thank you all. I have two recognition items, and I know we have a lot of serious conversations to get to, but I hope we'll give them our attention. This is, we'll start with RXC Running Club. They've had several accomplishments lately. A little bit about them. They've been a running club in Laredo with middle school and high school athletes for the last decade. Coaches Carlos Rangel and Peter Caso. And they compete together year-round in cross-country, indoor and outdoor track and field. And then there's no fee to be a member of RXC, and both coaches train runners on a volunteer basis. As a team, RXC has won multiple national championships in track and field, cross-country, and has represented Laredo and South Texas in many of the Junior Olympics. Middle school runners currently hold several City of Laredo records in the 800 meter, 1600 meter, 2400 meter. Those records were challenged this year by the new generation of RXC runners, with the 1600 meter record broken. This year, RXC's runners from Troutman Middle School went undefeated during their cross-country season, finishing each race in the top 3 places. After the season in November, RXC traveled to Houston to compete in the Texas Middle School Cross Country Championship, where they won first place. In January at the Carl Lewis Indoor TNF Invitational, RXC and Troutman runner Joaquin Melendez finished first in the 3,000 meter and was ranked #1 in the entire nation. In March, RXC runner Pablo Garcia of Catula completed in the Nike Indoor National Championship in New York City, earning first place in the 1 mile event, and is now the Nike National Champion. As the 2025 outdoor track and field season concluded in March, RXC runners and Troutman Middle School students Marcos Valdez and Joaquin Melendez finished their 8th grade season undefeated in each event. So RXC runners, they've consistently been recruited and getting D1 offers and scholarships in the past. Mr. Michael Caso at UIW, Chris Navarrete at A&M Commerce, Dylan Navarrete, UT Tyler, Diego Ramirez, UTSA, Joseph Gonzalez, Alan Hernandez, and Dion Arriaga. So RXC also gives back to the community, working through Laredo Police Run for Autism, Labs United Way. In attendance today, we have the coaches Carlos Rangel, Peter Caso, and runners Andy Landeros. And y'all can come up as I say your name. Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, you can.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Yes. Point of order, please. In order to continue with these recognitions, we need to bring up item 59D1, 59D2, and any other recognitions that may be still pending.
Second.
All right, go ahead. Second, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
I apologize for the interruptions.
Thank you. Yes, all that, I got to start over, sorry. No, and so Andy Landeros, Yanuel Rojas, Luis Salazar, number 1 in the nation, Joaquin Melendez. Manuel Valdez, Marcos Valdez, Gilberto Olveda, raise your hand, Mateo Franco, and Pablo Garcia. We also have Gilbert Moreno, the Troutman Middle School principal, Coach Edwin Garcia, Alexander High School athletic coordinator, Coach Daniel Lombrano, head boys and girls coach and assistant track at Alexander, and then Coach Brian Swain, the head boys track and field coach at Alexander High School. Thank you all for being here. Yeah. Okay. And thank you, Councilmember Alyssa Figueroa, for co-sponsoring this item.
Mayor, give me 1 minute, ma'am. I'll take it, and then if y'all want to stand here to take the picture. Can y'all scoot over, please? Right there. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Right here with Gabby. And you want to stand with Gabby?
1, 2, 3. Perfect. One more here. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Any members of the family that want to get in the photos?
One more here. Familiar.
We'll continue with your name.
Okay. 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 Just have one.
Next recognition, United Day.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. So, Mayor, if I may, so this will be recognized in the United Day School class of 2034 boys basketball team led by coaches CJ Martinez and Matt Duran for winning the 3rd grade division championship at the Elite Mexico National Tournament in Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. Competing against teams from northern and central Mexico, the Patriots went undefeated 7-0 and defeated North Saltillo in the final. In addition, several team members received individual awards for their performances. Manny Devez was named the MVP, while Rafael Gutierrez and Eugenio Galindo earned all tournament team honors. The City of Laredo commends their dedication and achievement on the international stage. Thank you for representing Laredo so well, guys, and thank you for bringing the trophy to City Council. So,
Como quiera, Gabby, if you want to hold it, or in the floor. Yeah. Gabby, pero send unos acá y unos acá. Right there.
Oops, there you go, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine right there, yeah. Here's your certificate. Oh, there you go. You have your certificate? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
One right here. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Do y'all want to come take pictures up here?
All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys.
One more, ready, guys? Okay, right here. 1, 2, and 3.
I'll take
Gotcha.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Ma'am.
How are you? It's good to see you guys. Congratulations.
Hey.
Mayor, if I may, bring up a motion to bring up item number 59E1. Recognize Mr. Rick Laudel, another recognition. That's the next one right there. Motion second, Mayor. Will we take a vote?
Yeah.
Vote, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Mayor, can I?
Councilwoman is on virtual, so you'll go ahead and give the recognition.
Discussion with possible action recognizing Rick Laudel as Chair for Port of Entry Advisory Committee from March 13, 2024 to March 19, 2025, and any other matters incident thereto, co-sponsored by Councilmember Dr. David Tyler King, who was actually the one that appointed him. I just want to thank Rick for, is he there?
Yes, he's here.
I just want to thank him for his service. I know the Port of Entry is a very active committee. They've done a lot of great work, and he's served the city honorably, and he's always been there to try to help us figure out how to make the port better and more efficient. And, we look forward to continue working with you, Rick, and thank you for your work as chairman.
Thank you. And Mayor, if I
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yes, and Rick, I also wanted to say thank you for serving and for continuing to serve. You're not done with the committee, you're just done with being chair. So we still need you on the Point of Entry Advisory Committee. So thank you for continuing to serve. Yeah.
All right. Certificate of recognition, Mayor and City Council hereby recognizes Rick Laudel, recognizing Rick Laudel as Chair for the Port of Entry Advisory Committee from March 13, 2024 to March 19, 2025. Congratulations. Couple of words.
Well, it was really great working with everybody at the Port of Entry. The Port of Entry is made up of a bunch of international trade experts, subject matter experts, and all we do is try to make this place a better place to live in when it comes to trade and our bridges, and we try to protect them as much as possible. We look forward to many more years serving. That's what we're here for you to do, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Councilmember, yeah. I don't know. Right there, okay. Ready, 1, 2, 3, one more.
One more here. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Andy. Andy. What's the last one? Wait, what number? What number on the agenda?
Oh, no.
I don't see it. Resolution.
Part of the supplemental.
I don't know which one it is. I don't see it on there. No. Under what number is he on? It's not on there. We should be voting on it. We can't if it's not on there.
Just like one of supplemental agenda.
Oh, up on top. Okay. Okay. I see it. Mayor, so just a motion to bring up on the supplemental agenda, number 1, the City of Laredo Mayor and Council recognizes Harmony High School student Juan Lopez for being named 31-4A District Champ on track and field 400 meter. Lopez competed at a recent track meet in Toulouse Midway.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Do a recognition.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that.
Certificate of recognition. Mayor and City Council hereby recognizes Juan Lopez, recognizing Harmony High School student Juan Lopez for being named 31-4A District Champ on track and field 400 meters. Congratulations. Let's say a couple of words before you go.
Well, first, I want to thank my parents, my mom right here. I just want to thank her for everything she does for me, everything she sacrifices. And then, second of all, I want to thank my coach, everything he does for me. We wake up at 5 a.m. every morning to practice. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much, Coach. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations. Coach, you want to say something?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. First want to thank Juan's parents and for everything, for their support, our school, our community. This is our 3rd year of running track. I'm also the athletic director at the school. I started the program 11 years ago. And I'm so proud of him, how his commitment, his dedication. Right now, he's ranked number 1 heading in the area. This Thursday, we're running Rio Grande. And then from then on, he's still ranked as one of the top runners. Hopefully, we make it to the state of Texas. And so he has to turn around and yet run the 800. He has 2 awards there. And he runs the 800, he got 3rd. He's one of the top runners there. And then he turns around and runs the 400 about an hour later, which is unbelievable. The lactic acid that builds up in an athlete's body like that to turn around and run that fast, it's incredible. It's a hybrid almost, I look at it, and he's that special. So he's representing Laredo and also our community as well. So I'm very proud of him. So thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Let's take a picture.
Congratulations. There you go. There you go. There you go. You got the angle.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Remember here? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Juan. Good luck.
record, before we proceed, Councilwoman Melissa Cigarro's present. All right.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to continue with communications. Number one, presentation by the mayor, Dr. Victor Trevino.
Yes, and after that, I will proceed to bring my item up, 59A. We'll proceed with communications.
That's my motion, Mayor. I'll accept the amendment.
Motion
Second
amended. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Communications. Presentation by Mayor Dr. Victor Trevino providing general comments on city matters, upcoming initiatives, and other relevant updates for the council and public. Some messages and announcements. I think we have an announcement from the community development. Also, I would like to just express our awareness as a council of the economic anxiety and concern that we have been hearing in the community as we go into uncharted territory. I know that I have an agenda item on this issue, so I will reserve my comments until we bring it up. Mr. Neb, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mayor, City Council. First part, of course, we were going to talk about the City of Laredo efficiency study. We did talk about this just a little bit at our budget workshop as well, too. And so when the mayor put this item on there, we've been working on it to tighten it up and everything. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how we want to get the efficiency study done. Again, one of the things that we looked at through the budget workshop and the bond resolution kind of brought this about as being very important to look at this even in deeper study for that. But we want to complete a comprehensive citywide efficiency review. We want to look at every one of our departments, where we're spending our money, what we're trying to accomplish, and make sure that everything still fits the vision of the council as what we're trying to accomplish. All of this work will be prioritized and walk through that. We want to identify any of the cost savings, innovation opportunities, service improvements. We want to align our operations with the strategic goals and the upcoming bond referendum. And we also want to support the council directive under this 25C40 to prepare for grant reductions and rising costs. If you're not aware, I think everybody is aware, but through the state of Texas, we lost 3 grants a little bit early. We knew they were coming, but they were related to the COVID response. And we thought we would have a little bit longer based upon the executive order from DC through the state of Texas. We lost 2 of those programs early. 3 of the grants were gone. It affected 22 of our employees. I will say that at that point in time, we still have a few left over to find homes for them, but most of them went into other roles that we had open. And we're gonna see if we can find for those that are still wanting to work with the City of Laredo, if we can transfer their abilities, we're gonna be moving them in there. So, but that's the reason why this item is on the agenda as well too, is that we believe that there will be further federal involvement, state involvement on our grant systems, and of course most of them are in very important areas: police, fire, health departments, and so we want to be ready for that. And so staff has been working on some of this, but we are putting it together. We also went out on the framework structure. We went out and looked at other cities. We're not the first ones to look at an efficiency study. There's everybody who looks at that all the time, because the limited funds that we do have to go to the most important things. And so we looked at other cities and national models. We are integrating the budgeting, innovation, consolidation, strategic planning. We're structuring it in under 18 key sections, and that should have been in the framework that you received during the budget workshop. I'm responding to that, but I'm going to just walk through the broader pieces of that. We want to look at the efficiency initiatives aligned to our long-term strategic plan. We want to make sure that everything we do ties back to the vision of what you said as the elected officials. We are wanting to put this and house this program underneath our budgeting department using a cross-functional staff. There was a conversation we looked at bringing in an outside consultant, bringing in additional resources, but I think it defeats the purpose of doing an efficiency study. I think we should be doing this internally and finding that criteria. And so we're going to lean on our professional staff to help us as we walk through this. We are framing the initiative as the Laredo Efficiency and Innovation Program, not as a new department, but as a division within our budgeting department. We do a lot of this work anyway every year as we're putting together our budgets. We're just going to put it on steroids essentially and make sure that everything that we are providing still meets what the council's vision is for what we're trying to accomplish. I wanted to just talk about some of the existing city efficiencies. We've been doing this all along. I don't know how far back we could go, but I do know in the last couple of years, we've done organizational restructuring. We've created new departments and restructured old departments. We actually, we removed 2 departments and created them as divisions in order to tighten up the consolidation of our restructuring. We are standardizing our entire services through citywide SOPs, tracking system, and classification systems, whether it be for personnel or any of our work out there. We had a lot of departments that they knew what their jobs were, but they weren't following a standard through the operating procedures. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware that we are in our 3rd year of implementing those standard operating procedures, which will tighten up how we spend and what we're spending it on. Just in the last conversations we've had, we are implementing 60-hour annual training, standardized hiring, compensation alignment with the industries. We're looking at that as a modernization of our workforce. We want to make sure that our people are highly capable of doing those jobs, so there's cross-training happening, as well as making sure that they are not just to do their jobs today, but to do the job that we may need them for tomorrow. And so that's the one thing that we're doing with the workforce modernization. Financial policies, we're working on fee waiver frameworks. We're looking on fund management within that structure. And then, of course, our community engagement. We are talking all the time, multilingual, town hall meetings, hybrid models. We are trying to outreach with the public more often. And I think that's where our effectiveness actually grows through that contact, whether they agree with what we're talking about or whether they have a difference of opinion or anything. That's what makes the democracy works, and that's what makes it stronger for that piece. The study methodology that we'll do within this efficiency study is that we're going to start with, of course, data collection. We're going to do self-assessments for every department, benchmarking audits to try to find out that we will compare that against all of our comparable cities as well too, because there's a lot of lessons learned from our bigger brothers and sisters, as well as what we're doing as well too. The scoring criteria, the mandate level, public safety impact, public demand, return on investment, and equity will all be considered within the scoring criteria. Again, we have to make sure that we are looking at every one of the departments, every one of our functions, to make sure that it is still meeting what we hope it will, that we're trying to, how we're growing our city. Program inventory developed to prioritize services based on the critical nature of them and the value that they provide. There is a prioritization of every service. There's the services that we cannot do without, like police and fire, health department, and then we go all the way through that structure as to some of the expenditures that we're hoping for something better, or we're working on something that gets us better prepared for the long term. But our big focus is that we have to have the day-to-day operation, and as the departments have heard from me as well too, we have to make sure our house is in order first before we can go out and help anything else happen within the city. So I always want to make sure that our foundation is strong as we go forward. The tools that are being developed and where we're at with that, of course, a service scoring spreadsheet, the evaluation and ranking of our city services, a program inventory, understanding that all of our city programs by department, so we can consistently evaluate the effectiveness of each one of those programs, and then a checklist of completed initiatives to assess any gaps or next steps within there. These are the pieces that we will put together based upon the framework that I've already presented. The stakeholder engagement strategy, of course, will involve the internal task force, the staff from the finance, budget, HR, IT, all of our department directors, exactly how we walk through the bond referendum build out as well too. I want to incorporate our academic partners. We have a lot of talent here within the city. I want to make sure that we're tapping into Laredo College, TAMU, and utilize those resources that they have. They've helped us with other initiatives. I would like to continue utilizing them. And then, of course, the public engagement, whether it be through the resident input, through surveys, town halls, advisory groups. I think you're aware we do have a survey out right now for the budget. We are asking all the citizens to weigh in on what is important to them in our budget. We do our budgets every year. We're outreaching with them and trying to find out what's the most highest priority for you as a citizen. So that's our stakeholder engagement strategy. Just a timeline overview, because I want to help manage those expectations as to how to get there. In the next couple months, we'll define the scope, the teams, the metrics. We'll do the data collection with the internal reviews and external benchmarking in the next 3 to 6 months. We'll do the analysis with the scoring of the services, identifying improvements in areas in the following 2-3 months. Then we want to do stakeholder and public feedback. Have we missed something? Have we thought of it too isolated within there? What is that impact going to be to our people and our stakeholders? And then, of course, in the last 2 to 3 months, we'll talk about launching the changes, monitoring the KPIs, which is actually our metrics to review to make sure that we're meeting those expectations. The total of time it'll take through this is 9 to 16 months. We're going to keep it as tight. We will make sure that the council is aware of this as we go through it. But I want to make sure that you're aware, because I know in our conversations, this would have been excellent information at any point in time as we build out our budgets. There's never a better time than today to start something, so we're in that as well too. What does the success look like? I want to make sure you understand that as well too. Data-driven budgeting tied to service priorities. That's the thing, is that if we're spending money and we can't explain why we're spending it, then we've got to do something a little bit better. We'll look at the data-driven budgeting. Improved service delivery with measurable outcomes. We've been working on that. They're the SMART goals: specific, measurable, accountable. And so all those goals are very important so that we can explain to the people. We do 2 things that are very big, and I don't know if the citizenry understands it. First thing we do is we pass a budget every year. And it takes us a year to walk through our budget, and we say, this is how we're going to spend your money. That's what our budget book does. We have volume after volume of our budget works information, breaking down everything within that structure. At the end of the day, we come back in with the state of the city, or we say, essentially our annual departmental report, and now we tell everybody how we spent their money. So we tell everybody how we're going to spend their money, and then we show them how we spent their money. I guess those are the benchmarks of everything through our years. Everything else that we do throughout the year is actually moving those things around to make sure that we can accomplish what we're trying to get done. I truly believe that if we do this thing openly and transparently, the community trusts through that transparency to be seen. And we also want scalable innovations to weather the fiscal challenges. The world is not a stagnant area, so anything we put together is going to have to be flexible and be able to be adjusted to what is happening to us. Nobody knew exactly that we were going to run into these issues with the grants. There was always those little signs of what ifs. And what ifs are a blessing and a curse, by the way, because some what ifs will stop you in your tracks. Some what ifs will actually help you move through. So we want to make sure that whatever we put together is scalable and that it can weather any of these challenges that we walk through. Really quickly, with the fairness and affordability, I want to put this in there. This was some of the conversation that the mayor had at the press conference this morning. I want to make sure that we are reviewing the fees and rate structures to avoid unattended price increases. We want to make sure that what we're doing is affordable. We want to make sure that what we're doing is where it should be. We want to evaluate existing safeguards against perceived or real price gouging. One of the things that happens in any time there's a challenging situation is that there can be the potential of people trying to reap a benefit from that as well too. We're going to put in some areas there as we look at some of our departments about making sure that we have safeguards in place. We're going to expand the deferred payment plan options for utility and service bills. Depending on what happens, we're going to put these things in there and make sure that we expand out how we can help people take care of their needs for their families and everything. We'll consider equity-based adjustments or sliding scale models where appropriate. We have different levels of individuals, whether it be over the age of 65, whether they be disabled, whether they be poverty level. We have to take all that into account as we put this model together. We want to ensure that the efficiency doesn't come at the cost of the resident access or well-being. So everything we look at, we want to make sure that there is an alternative for how we work with our residents as well too. That doesn't mean that the service can't change. It just we have to make sure that we maintain that fairness and affordability within those considerations. But wanted to make sure you're aware of that. What we are asking the council tonight is to endorse the study framework as the implementation of the policy direction. We'll work through budget. I've talked to budget today as well too, and we're going to build this internal task force structure. We're going to engage Laredo College, TAMU for third-party participation. We'll use the results to inform budget decisions and bond readiness, and of course, schedule regular updates with the council on progress and impacts based upon that timeline I provided you. Mayor and City Council, that's, hopefully that meets the expectations of this report. But I would ask that if it does, please endorse the study framework so that we can get our teams moving. So Mayor and City Council, I'll answer any questions.
All right. Thank you very much. And basically, that goes along with 59A1, discussion with possible action to create efficiency initiative throughout the city to adapt and prepare for impacts from grant reduction, anticipated increases in cost operations, any matter related to. And this was sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Perez. And the reason is some of what you alluded to. I placed this item on the agenda because I've been receiving significant amount of calls on the current economic climate, and I'm sure the rest of the council as well. And as a result, I had a press conference this morning, as you all know, so the public knows that we're not going to ignore what is before our eyes and what the community is telling us. These things are real, undeniable, maybe uncomfortable. We should not pretend that they don't exist or hide between laws or lawyers to try to avoid difficult decisions. I would like to focus on solutions, and that is what leadership represents. And some of the possible initiatives would be, I'd like the city manager to survey departments and see where we can come up with some more efficient, separate situation where the wants from the needs are separated, with the overriding focus on core government services, and report back to the council. The other one is I would like for the city manager to work on relief programs in terms of installment plans for city services that we can offer the public in case the economy continues to be negatively impacted, and a recommendation on what would trigger these programs and bring it back to council. And one more is discussion with possible action on bond rollout. So we can talk about this first.
Mayor, before you
Sure,
start,
go ahead.
just a clarification, you had asked on my amendment for 59A. So I'd like to just amend that motion to make it 59A1, 2, and 3. Is that what you wanted to
Yes.
have those three items read?
We'll
Please,
continue
that's my
those.
motion.
All right. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
I want to ask a question now of the city manager.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, there it is, I got you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, as I mentioned before, that it's sometimes with these kind of studies, and I said this study more than any bond or any brick and mortar project is the most important thing we're probably going to be able to do.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt. Mayor,
Oh, no,
we need to vote on number 1
Okay,
before we
that's
continue to
one.
number 2.
All right, before we do that, let's go ahead and, I want to put it as a motion on
I'll
number
second
one.
that, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Point of order, can we have a clarification of the motion? Is it just to bring up the item?
Yes,
To bring it back to us. Yes.
Sorry,
yes.
yes.
It's
the efficiency.
to vote, It was number 1, item number 1,
Voting on item number 59A1.
A1.
Yes, the two motions that the mayor made.
Okay, that is a motion. Then second,
Sir.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, did you have a question?
Yes, I think I
Sorry,
lost my.
Councilmember Garza, number 2. I apologize.
Forget it, I lost my train of thought already. No. Well, as we discussed before, this document and this study is going to be, I think, vital, and probably the most important thing that we do from here to whatever we do over the next 20 years. So we can get this right. I believe that this city can be transformed into the 21st century. But the only caution I would tell you is that sometimes when these studies are made, you kind of have to be worried about the answers too. As much as we're trying to get efficiency done, as much as we're trying to get something good out of it, something good can come out of it that might not be at the timing, that where we're at right now. And so one of the things that I mentioned before, I'm hoping that whatever documentation or matrix comes out of this, that it's absolutely manual according to the times. Of course, we're doing this right now only because of what's going on nationwide, right? We really don't want to do what they're doing up in DC, like I said before sarcastically, and just chop heads for the sake of chopping heads, you know? So we're trying to get to the bottom and the core reasons of the inefficiencies and efficiencies that we have here at the city, which I am all for. But I do not want to get to the point where we do these type of things and then some of these studies, like I said, sometimes come out with some numbers that we're not going to be ready to support. So I just want to make sure that it's valuable enough so that we can discuss and we can all understand as adults, you know, this will be good for its timing right now and it can be processed in justified time rather than, okay, this is what the study found, let's go forward and let's do it. And so that's the only concern that I have about this, but I am 100% behind what we're doing. There's a lot of vital information that we're going to be doing out there. I think the bottom line is our customer service is going to increase because of it. We're going to be able to better to respond to the public, and we're going to be able to get an actual number, a very important number as to where we're at and what, like a grade system, where we're at with what we have right now and what we need to get us to the 21st century, or where we're at right now, more. So I just want to make sure that the document is absolutely manual and discussed ad nauseum until we get to the bottom of everything that we have here and make sure that it's the right and appropriate thing to do for the city.
All right, before we proceed, Mr. Secretary, that item we voted on was 59A1 and 2, or just A1?
Just A1.
Just A1. All right. On A2, you have a question?
Oh, sure.
For
Yeah.
A1, but no, go ahead. Oh, thank you.
Who's gonna? You? Okay.
So, thank you for putting together such a comprehensive look at how we're going to move forward with the efficiency study. I do think that most important when you were discussing about how to integrate this is the focus on strategic planning. That everything that we do, whether it is looking at how we can run the departments more efficiently or restructure some of the programs that we have, looks to how it moves the city forward. And I know that as a body, we're going to be focusing on strategic planning at the end of this month. I think it's important to make sure that we have stakeholder engagement in that so that we can bring the community along with us. So that every decision we're making is not seen as something that is arbitrary, but as what Mr. Garza was talking about, is really focused on how to move the city forward. And so I'm thankful that it's comprehensive. I'm thankful that you're looking for stakeholder engagement and that you'll return to the city council and will continue to mold and guide this. And that piece of strategic planning is very important in how we move forward.
All right. So we'll move to 59A2. There. You haven't voted on it? No, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Neb, and thank you, Mayor. I'd also, along the same lines of strategic planning, and you mentioned the working towards goals, and I guess, is it goals in between individual departments or the goal, like the goals that we have of our city? I mean, obviously we are going to be meeting on this in a couple weeks, but I guess I'm just curious, are these I mean, I love that we're talking metrics and data, and this is something that's been missing up until now. But are your metrics going to be, and the score criteria, and going to be tied to the our Viva Laredo comp plan? Granted, it does need being updated, but it's still a document that's been adopted and that exists in our city. And I'm just, in a way, I want to bear with me, because, for example, like even when we talk about street paving, there are recommendations within the Viva Laredo comp plan that we're not taking actionable steps to implementing those recommendations. And even with just a lot of the conversations that are surrounding, that we're having these days, like rather than saying repairing just the worst streets in the city, we're taking steps of redesigning the streets so that they're more multimodal friendly and whatnot. So I'm just curious, are we tying these metrics to the bigger vision? And if not, can we?
Yeah, Mayor and council member, city council, yes, in the perfect scenario, we're gonna work from the comprehensive planning all the way through. And then, of course, the directors, anywhere from my position down in there, we are actually taking all of that vision and trying to make it all happen and make it coordinate together. I think when you look at the efficiency studies to everything, and just so you know, the documentation is more comprehensive because I want to make sure that you understand where we're going. Every step of this thing will be presented into the council to make sure that I'm not missing where we're headed as well too. I want to make sure that if somebody doesn't like the direction we go, if somebody doesn't like the metrics that we've created, that somebody says something to me earlier than later, because we're gonna exhaust a lot of different resources to walk through this thing to make sure that we are aligned together with what we're trying to do. So I do appreciate what everybody's saying. I just need to make sure that we're there, and that's part of the reason why the comprehensive War and Peace novels that I put together, because I want to make sure you know where the thought process is. And again, I want to make sure that even the public's able to keep up with exactly where we're going as you're walking through your vision, directing the staff as well too. But in the perfect world, it's going to walk all the way through there. Now, depending on some of those things that are in the Viva Laredo plan and where we're at with all this conversation about how the world is adjusting around us, there has to be a coordination through all of that. Yes, all of our streets should meet the complete streets mechanism, just like you're talking about. We should be looking at, if we're going to go in and rebuild a street and invest $1 million to change out a mile, that we look at all of those other pieces in there, whether it be the walkability, whether it be the safety features in there. So the quick answer is yes, we were going to try to tie that all in there. It all comes at some point in time, it all comes at a cost as well too, and that's the balancing act that we will walk through there. And it's kind of hard to, not without a lot of different examples, but that's what you're going to walk through there. You know, the first thing we will look at is any of the programs that we believe that have outdated themselves and not been looked at or not adjusted to where we're at today. But then we're also walk through every one of those comprehensive plan items and make sure that we are coordinated with what this vision is as to where we want our city to grow. And so that's my answer without giving you the absolute, oh yes, we're going to be there, because I think we also have to look at that Viva Laredo plan, because some of that vision in there has a cost within it for the city as well too. And we have to make sure that everybody's ready to go with all of that within that structure. But the idea is to make sure that our limited resources that we use go to the highest priorities as we walk through that. And we will look at everything. And we'll coordinate it back and forth with that. I think we have the systems in place right now that we are able to look at the Viva Laredo plan, plug those items in there, and see how that impact to each one of our departments will be. What I will tell you is that our departments, our directors, city staff, they're the professional piece of this. You're the voice of the city within your own areas and everything. And so we have to marry all of that information through in order to get there. The directors are going to tell you if it's the wrong thing to do. You know, if we're going to make a street out of cornflakes, we'll hear very quickly that we should never use cornflakes for making a street. So,
yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Real quick, my question is, what made you come back to this plan? To start off this plan, I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit. Or what made you come back to this plan or come up with this when you started back 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Why didn't you start off with this? And now we're trying to implement this program. And we're trying, and I love the program. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying, why are we doing it now, 3 years from when you started?
Thank you.
And what did you see?
Yeah, and Mayor and Council Member, that's why I tried to show you in the presentation of the things that we are already doing. We are always adjusting how we're spending the money. We are looking at that. There is ordinances and policies that are coming forward to each of you. If it's your responsibility to do, there are a number of policies that we've been implementing all along. The difference between now and then is that this is the first time in 30 years we went out for a bond referendum. And that triggered everybody to say, have we looked at have we looked at our house first? I think some of the people that have been talking out on social media and everything, have we looked at our house? Have we looked at our foundation? Are we where we're at?
So why didn't we do that first before doing that assessment before? We do assessment for everything all the time. So why didn't we do, and when we do planning, we just do the strategic planning and all that stuff. Why didn't we do this assessment first before we went out for the bond?
The bond referendum was established within the timeline of what was established. It was through the conversation with the council all the way back into May and June. At that time, we were talking about the issues within police. We were talking about the issues in fire. The Hamilton Hotel was coming back on board for us, and we were looking at the health department. We took our CIP list, essentially our 5-year master plan of capital improvement projects, and looked at that and said, how, based upon what the council was saying, is that how can we get this done any faster than what we're doing? That was the request. We are, we're 3 fire stations down by having the city, our standard of fire departments overlaid over the entire city. These are all up for the north end that's growing faster for all that industrial area. And so we took in 2 of those fire stations into our structure now, but we still had 1 fire station that we had no way to get there. So the bond referendum was the conversation that we created between staff and the city council to try to find a way to fix that. The efficiencies were moving, but at a slower pace. But based upon the conversation of where the bond referendum is now, based upon this council's vision, when we met in the budget workshop that we held, and then I met with each one of you individually in the month of February, what I heard from you collectively was, we need to do this in a larger scale. We need to do an efficiency study as to what we're tackling. That's why it's never, hindsight being 2020, I wish we would have done this 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I can't say that they didn't do something similar to that at that point in time because I wasn't here. All I can tell you is that from this point forward, this is my recommendation for what we're trying to do.
All right. Okay. We'll proceed with 59A2. Discussion with possible action on bond rollout and any matters related thereto. Sponsors, Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Perez. On this item, I brought it up so we can discuss the city's bond rollout in light of the current economic environment. I believe giving the public the ability to vote one way or another on government needs is important. Service is part of the democratic process, especially since the majority of the community bond committees voted to recommend these bonds to us. However, my strong belief is that we cannot be tone deaf and listen to the clear changes of the economic environment that did not exist during the bond recommendations. So I put this as a motion and for discussion.
Mayor, I have, I'll second it for discussion, please. I have a comment and a couple of questions. First, the question to legal. Now, we've all gotten plenty of calls about this bond referendum going out, and most of them that I've received are negative. People don't want to vote for it. And that's okay. They need to understand that we're okay with that. Question to you, legal, is are we able to, because people have asked me, because of this particular item, if we can pull back from putting this out for a vote? What I have gotten from you all, from that department, is no. We cannot recant. We can't pull back this item. We can't pull back the election. So at the end of the day, if the people of Laredo don't want any of these options that we're putting out there for you all that we see as necessities, but if you all don't want them there, then you simply vote no. And the city's okay with that. But you make the ultimate decision. We don't make the decision for you all. We cut the budget down, the committee cut the budget down from $800 million, which was recommended initially. We almost went to half to $417 million now. But if you don't feel that these services or these buildings are necessary, street paving is not necessary, you don't think that the Hamilton is necessary, you don't think the police department needs a building, the health department doesn't need a building, then you simply vote it down. You say no. We may come back in the future and ask for it again, because that's very, very possible. But But the consequences to that is that the prices of material, labor, are gonna go to the roof. As you see the increase going up 10 to 15% every single year.
If I may.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
As your legal counsel for the city, I would ask that you
I apologize,
tone down
yes.
that rhetoric.
Right.
And we will continue on with just talking about
Just about it.
generalities, about the council.
Right, so the only thing I wanted to keep out to the public was for you all to know. You voted up, you voted down. At the end of the day, this is your decision, whether you want this bond to pass or not. Also, fact, just because it passes, let's just say by some miracle it passes, and the voters say yes, we don't need to bond out automatically for the full amount, or bond out for any amount. So we can bond out, we see these tariffs taking place, or they're taking place now, and we're seeing that it's affecting our economy, and we see it up here. We simply don't have to bond out now. We don't have to bond out a year later. We don't have to bond out 3 years later. Until we see that the economic development or economic growth is back to where it was, and you're comfortable with it, then we can continue. So we can hold off on it if it should pass. If you don't want it to pass, you simply say no at the polls. Just wanted to clarify.
Mayor, the council member took half of my presentation.
I apologize, sorry about that.
Before we proceed, let me just add this. You know, in this climate of all the tariffs, all the products are going up, everything will be going up in price. A family is expected to pay maybe about $4,000 more per year with all the price increases. And the concern that I hear is that people are gonna say, we're going to have to pay this much more for groceries and things that we need for the house. And at the same time, we're gonna have to pay a tax on top of this. So the idea is maybe this is not the right time to get the bond put out. And the idea is to postpone it for a future date. That would be a consideration. Because people are saying that we're gonna have to pay tax and at the same time pay for everything that's gonna be more expensive. That is the concern, and that would be something that we have to look at.
Clarify that, please, Vic.
Go ahead, Council. I'm sorry.
If I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
what I will say, Mr. Mayor, even though it's your idea and this could essentially be an idea worth exploring, I would say that legally it is impermissible. Under section 2.081 of the Texas Elections Code, we are only able to cancel an election if there is a mootness issue. So just as a quick example, let's say that we're going out for the bond for the Hamilton Hotel, and for whatever reason, for purposes of my hypothetical, the Hamilton Hotel would no longer belong to us. So us going out for that bond money for something that doesn't belong to us is a moot point. Then we could cancel for that reason. Otherwise, that is the only exception that the Elections Code allows for a cancellation. A postponement would also be akin legally to a cancellation. And if I can turn your attention to 2.082 of the Texas Elections Code, it does say that the authority giving rise to the election has to have statutory rule in order to cancel. The only one that we have right now is the mootness doctrine, which nothing qualifies under that exception. So that's just for clarification, legally speaking, Mr. Mayor.
All right, one question to that. Cancellation and postponement, it's not the same thing.
I would say, I would argue, and based on the advice given to our bond counsel, and after them consulting with their elections department there at their firm, the interpretation is that a postponement would be akin to a cancellation, legally speaking.
One more thing. In regard to moot point, you know, the initial thing, for example, in the health department was to increase their space in order to get more grants. But now the grants are being cut. So that rule doesn't apply anymore to build out the health department. So that is a moot point.
That would definitely, and that is new information, and what we could do is take that question back to our bond counsel and see what they recommend in terms of whether or not it qualifies for a cancellation under this provision of the Elections Code.
Since this is a little bit, I guess, complicated, I think an opinion from the Attorney General's office pending a decision on this would be appropriate. That would be my motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
So what will be the consequences if we don't follow the recommendation of legal?
You have to, or you'd be in violation of state law.
Hey,
Yes, go ahead.
okay, so guys, back on our meeting, February 11th, when we had a deadline of February 14th, I made the motion for us to move it to November. Everyone spoke, and the majority said, no, we need to go for May. I'm speaking, sir.
No, Mayor,
I'm sorry, what's the point of order?
the point of, this is one of order. It's just, can I just rebut after that?
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
So we spoke, I withdrew that motion. The council clearly wanted to move forward with this election. We passed it with 3 days to spare. And that's what the council ultimately decided, to move forward with this bond election. At this point, our legal counsel, and this is not just our city attorneys telling us this is the bond elections firm that runs all the state bond elections across the state of Texas. So going against that recommendation, I would not advise. So my personal belief is that this bet is set. The election has to go on. As Councilmember Gutierrez said, people are free to vote how they wish. And I would also like people to be aware, for the public to know, that if this were to fail in May, we have every right to go back in 6 months, in November, and say to the public, we made a mistake with this bond and how we did it, and we can either trim it down or put do different things. So there's been misinformation out there that we would have to wait 3 years to go out for a bond election again. That's not true. We would just have, if we never did a bond election again, we would not be able to distribute a CO bond for the next 3 years. But if it were to fail in 6 months, if it were to fail in May, in November, or in May of the next year, or in November, every 6 months you get the opportunity to go out for a bond election, regardless of whether or not it fails. And you can put the same information on again, or you can trim it down, or you can even put more. I wouldn't, advise that. But nonetheless, the point is, there are options. The bet has been made. We have no choice. There is no option of canceling it. We had our chance on February 11th to push it back. We chose not to. We have no legal options of canceling it. It's clear as day. It has to go on, is what I've seen, what I've heard from our legal and their legal opinion. So that's where I am at on that. And I
Go
think
ahead.
people should vote how they feel.
And the only thing I'm trying to point is that, yes, we did, back when we, February 17th, that's the deadline that we did vote, I was a part of it. At the same time, we didn't have these tariffs that were coming in. We didn't know how it was gonna look, so we started, thinking of what the community needed. I'm sorry. But at the same time, we did understand that the health department and the Hamilton needed that help, as well as fire and public safety, which is PD. So that's one of the reasons we went that way. But if we have the opportunity to help our community, to see the way that we need to do it, we'll find a way to, if we can change it, I'll be, more going forward with that, so.
All right. Yes, go ahead.
So I really appreciate the fact that Councilmember Gutierrez framed it in this manner, that we did decide, as Councilmember King was saying, to push this forward, right? And I also was one of the voices who thought perhaps that we would wait and have a little bit more time. But if that decision was made then, it was made back then. And I think even if the town halls currently haven't been successful, there can be a renewed push to get that information out. There has been misinformation, and people don't understand still that we're talking about an $8.33 increase in taxes per month per $100,000 property valuation. And while you look at that over the year, it's $100 per year for everyone who owns $100,000 in property valuation, and that goes up in $100 increments, right? according to the $100,000 more property that you have. Those simple details, so that it doesn't seem like this big, scary, onerous burden, to understand that a bond referendum allows us to spread out the costs among all of our citizens. We're a city of 260,000 people plus, that when we think about doing big things in our budget, that sometimes that budget just can't handle the needs that we have.
Councilmember, I am so sorry to interrupt. I just think that
Understood.
these comments could be.
Understood. I guess my point was just that we look to spread costs over the entire population. That's what my point was. But I don't think that information is, the city needs to do a better job at communicating what that rate structure looks, so that people have an objective measure as to what this means. Unfortunately, the climate right now, the financial climate, because of national politics, is creating a lot of fear, and understandably so. But our city and our budget, we have a vision for the future, and we would not be doing our work here on council if we weren't making that clear to the public as to what those needs are and what those impacts are to our community. So I think we have if we are caught in this date, that we continue to commit to getting that information out to the public. And if that needs to be more town halls, more informational sessions, if we need to individually try to meet constituents in a smaller venue, only to distribute the facts, to make sure that we do not fall outside of this box of electioneering, but just so people understand what the vote means factually, how it will impact them financially, then we move forward doing that with more information to the public.
All right, one of the things I think we need to focus on what we're saying. We have two things. We have the terrorists that were not present at that time when we made the decisions. And number two, now there's moot points on that we can't build to get more grants. So because it's a federal issue, it's an election purview for the state, I think it merits getting an opinion from the Attorney General just to make sure we're on the right playing field. We want to make a decision based on what the state law is and how it would impact us based on these two situations of the not existence of the tariffs and the moot point for the health department. So that would be my motion.
If I may, I'm so sorry, Councilmember Zigarro, if I may just respond to the mayor's comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
The city of Laredo can't ask the Attorney General for an Attorney General's opinion. That would either be our duly elected county attorneys or the district attorney, if I'm not mistaken. But we cannot ask for one. Typically, when we do ask for one, it's in the context of a open records request, and whether or not something is releasable. But from the city to the Attorney General asking for an opinion, we cannot do that.
All right, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that I believe the mail-out ballots are going out Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And so would that even give time to hear back from these higher authorities?
Mayor and City Council, yeah, that was one thing that the bond council provided to us as this election has actually started. Those overseas, our military that are overseas are already receiving ballots. So the idea of holding off on the election is very difficult at this point in time because it has already started within that ballot structure. I think the one thing I want to make sure that everybody kind of keeps an eye on is that the purpose of the bond referendum is to empower the citizens of Laredo. The city council has not forced anything on anybody. We went through a bond referendum committee of 28 individuals, each selected, 3 selected by each one of the council members, 4 selected by the mayor to look through these. And when Councilmember Gutierrez talks about this bond referendum going from an $800 million possibility down to $417 million, it went through 3 months of review of this committee. From that point, it came to the city council level, and it took 2 to 3 meetings, a special workshop, in order to wrap up this whole conversation. You're not forcing anything on anybody, but it is, I think the thing you have to watch out for as well too, we're asking the public, we're asking for the citizens of Laredo to weigh in on this. Are we correct in our assumptions that these are needed? I mean, a lot of the needs, and I heard that tonight as well too, is that, well, you know, police and fire is important, Hamilton Hotel is important, the health department's important, but not right now. And I wanted to make sure I'm not gonna go through my entire presentation because I think I want to get back to letting you guys get into that. Just want to make sure that you know the voters, let the voters decide, you're going to let the council, and so whether it be a for or against, let them have that opportunity to speak their mind. I think this is some of the conversation we had in all of our pieces. We cannot find any legal authority that exists, and our legal counsel goes through that. Love to ask the Attorney General on this. We can go through our representatives. Just understand, by the time we get that response, the bond election will be done. That it's not going to happen that quickly. And so, and I want to make sure you understand, because the ballots, the mail-in ballots are already out. And so the idea of trying to walk through the election is very difficult for that. This was addressed just a little bit. This is the ability, if the bond referendum was to be approved, this is the ability to spend money. This doesn't say we're spending money. The bond referendum says it gives us the authority that we can go out and spend the money on these 4 propositions. The council has full authority over when that chooses to go out for the bonds. We've had that conversation multiple times, that it doesn't mean immediate borrowing. It means that we take the most important item and we can delay other parts of it as well too.
Councilman. And this is what I know it's still in your presentation, but you said when. You said when, but it's also when and if, because I just want to also be clear, all 4 of these could pass. Let's say they do. In August, every August for the next 3 to 5 to 7 years, every August when we have our August workshops,
yes,
the council, mayor, city manager, budget, finance comes together every August to look at all these concerns, the uncertainty, whatever it may be. And even if they're all voted in yes, every August we decide whether or not to even, this is just, if people vote yes, they're actually not voting for it to happen, they're voting to give the permission of the council to do it. And if it's deemed that we can't do it with maintenance and operations that year, or the uncertainty is looking bad, then the council has the option of not doing it. It gives us, so you said when, but it's also an if.
It's also if. We do a 5-year capital improvement plan every year. We change out which projects are the most highest priority every year as we do this 5-year capital plan. You look at it every year, just like what the council member's saying as well too, is that you look at it every year to try to figure out which projects are the most vital to the city at the time. If the bond was to fail, we will be considering alternatives. We're going to consider that. If you look at some of the projects in there, it's worn out infrastructure. It's another fire station that meets our standards of how we are responding to the public. We have critical needs regardless of the tariffs, regardless of what's happening to us. We will continually reevaluate the priorities and the funding options. The tariff impact, just so you know, in the review that we've been doing and all the people that we've been talking to, the tariff impact on material costs is a short-term disruption, and there's a long-term correction. Tariffs raise short-term costs. I'm going to use an example of the steel in 2018. The markets typically adjust within 1 to 2 years, and strategic planning accounts for this timeline. So back in 2018, President Trump enacted steel tariffs in the first quarter of 2018. Now, I inverted this disruption timeline because I wanted to show you the impact of somebody that has a bridge, not the impact because from the first quarter of 2018 to the second quarter, where the majority of the impact was, national steel creation peaked at that point in time. So when the steel tariffs went in, we quit bringing in the steel from China. And I think that helped us become the #1 port of entry, by the way, because when that shifted all of that model, USMCA agreement has been very good to us. But it peaked in the quarter of 2018. Now, when you look at the trend line from quarter 13 of 18, quarter 4 of 2018, and then the quarter 1 of 2019, you start to see where the market adjusted. The tariffs came in, had a short-term impact on the steel industry. But as the year went along, the market adjusts. Everybody makes those corrections. And if you look at where steel went from the first quarter in 2018 to the first quarter in 2019, it was almost back to where the tariff imposed were negligible within that structure. And so be aware of that as you're looking at the tariffs. We believe that there will be a short term. We've seen it already. When the threat of the tariffs went in even earlier, when the first 25% was going on to automotive, we saw the bridge activity drop. It will be a short term. The industry will correct itself at some point in time. Some of the analysis that we've looked at, even with the tariffs, even with the reciprocal tariffs on the other side, it still will be cheaper for most of the goods out there than if it's a reshoring on an onshoring redevelopment of manufacturing in there. And just so you know, within the city, we've been impacted by border patrol staffing, federal policies. They always slow our trade down. Our strategic importance remains intact. You've seen that over and over. The delay should not dictate long-term investment decisions, but I wanted to share this one with you. We know as the city of Laredo, we are logistics. We are moving product back and forth from Mexico to the U.S. These are manufacturing businesses that we've brought in over the years. We are shifting our model with the help of the LEDC, with the help of the chamber, with everybody out there, with all of our industrial parks. We are seeing manufacturing businesses come in, not just the logistics type businesses. We are diversifying our portfolio, which makes us less tied to the bridges. And so I wanted to make sure I shared that with you. You know, I think one of the nice ones was when the University of Texas Health Regional Campus, they increased their health sector development in 23-24. You go back, and the last time they did that was in 21. You go back even farther, the University of Texas within the health industry has been continuously on the front edge of changing and moving in the city of Laredo with their entire package. I just want to make sure that you understand some of these positive notes of where we're at and where we're going. Tariffs are a scary thing. Yes, there's going to be an impact, but I want to make sure you understand that Laredo's resilient. Laredo will find a way to make it all work. I do want to just leave you with trust the democracy, plan with the strategy, let the people vote, let them decide if it's the right thing or the wrong thing. I don't mean this in the bad way, but the louder voices are usually the anti-voices. They're going to tell you what is wrong. The quiet voices are the ones that are feeling comfortable with where you're headed and everything. So don't think you're out there alone. You guys have faced tough decisions before. You're going to keep facing tough decisions. That's your job. That's where it is. My job is to make sure you got all the information so you make the best decision possible. But trust in that the citizens of Laredo know what they can handle and what they can't handle. I think that's the thing I want to make sure I leave you with. I've seen a lot of different information out there as far as tax rates and everything. I looked at the top 10 cities out there where their tax rate is. Just so you know, we're the 7th from the bottom of our total tax rate. Some of the highest ones are El Paso, Dallas are the highest tax rates within that structure. We do look at this stuff. We watch this stuff. We definitely don't want to impact our citizens negatively. But I also want to tell you that, and this goes off of, I think, some of the citizen comments this morning. I don't know what Laredo went through in the past. I agree with that. But I know how to help Laredo do better in the future. And I think that's the thing I want to make sure I leave you guys with. You're not alone in this, in all this conversation. You got a lot of professional people looking through this thing. You have the options at your hand where if it doesn't look like the right time, we won't do it. If the public votes it down, we're going to go to alternatives because everything that we're asking for doesn't go away. It doesn't change. If it votes up, then we're going to be very astute and very financially responsible within that structure. I'm going to get off my soapbox, by the way, and so I just wanted to make sure I leave you with trust in the system, trust in this transparency we have. And you know, and the nice thing is that we can fill the room because we are transparent, whether they're for something or against it. That's a good thing. That's the real way of how to do that. You listen to the voices, you make your best decision. So I'll just leave you at that, but I wanted to make sure I shared these points with you because as soon as we look at these things all continuously, if we thought there was a way to kind of hold this thing in check a little bit longer, happy to do that. But remind yourselves, you're just asking the people to help you. And if it doesn't fit the plan, they'll tell you it doesn't fit the plan. If it doesn't fit what their needs are, they're going to tell you that it doesn't fit their needs. Trust that they will vote the way that they should in order to make this work. We'll make sure the information keeps getting out there. We'll make sure that we're telling everybody what the value of this is and how it's going to impact them. We have all those sheets out there. We are putting out more and more information every day. On the case of the M&O, I know that was one of the big issues. I reported at the FASCN, and that we actually increase M&O every year 13.6%. Our growth is based upon that. Oh, yes, I will. Yeah, maintenance and operations. So our tax rate is billed in two different ways. M&O is the maintenance operation side, and then there's the INS side, which is our debt service, which is for the capital. Our tax rate is broken into two. We are at cap at our M&O, and that's why the questions of going, how are we going to afford this when our INS? Because you have the ability to increase your INS side, your debt capacity, you have the ability to increase that up there. We're kind of capped at our M&O. So how do we absorb that in there? Our growth as a city has impacted that 13.6% on average for the last 3 to 4 years. The bond referendum, if you take the average of that, we're estimating 3.6 million there, plus another 1.5 million of additional growth because I talked to you at the budget workshop about we need to put money aside for our building maintenance. We need to put aside other costs and everything. That's going to be the impact on the M&O. We are putting that information out, and I think going back to what Councilmember Rangel says, why didn't we have it before? Before that, it's been 30 years since we've actually walked through this thing. We are building the foundation of this conversation so that we know what our people want to hear. We want to know what everybody needs to know as we move through this thing. Austin has all their M&O worked out in their capital planning on the front side. Corpus Christi does not. They walk through saying, we'll find a way to absorb it within our budget. We're right in the middle somewhere where we're looking at that. So I'm going to leave you that. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I apologize for that, but I wanted to make sure I covered this a little bit because we've looked at every variable that we can with this thing, and I want to make sure you understand we're not blind to any of this conversation. All I'm asking for is that we should let our voters decide which way we need to go, and in your wisdom within that structure, there are ways to protect our people as we walk through this thing. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I'll answer any questions, but.
All right. Mr. Secretary, did we have a motion on the floor?
You had made the mayor to get an attorney general opinion, and Mr. Rodriguez mentioned that we could not, and there was no second.
All right, so, yes, there's no second, so.
No second.
Go ahead.
Mr. Neb, in discussing the bond, and please be there, we hear so much, and you're talking about the needs of the city. When the voters are going out to vote for these bonds are specific to projects, and any money that is appropriated for them can only be spent on the projects. There is no scenario where we would approve monies for a bond and then spend that money in some other way aside from what is specified by what the bond allows. In that sense, these monies are protected in sort of in a way that perhaps the budget isn't quite. There's more flexibility in a budget than in this bond referendum because the projects described are exactly what needs to be spent should the voters approve that the project goes forward.
Yeah, so Mayor, and that is correct. We have to spend the money on that. The question was asked at the FASCN, what if we actually have a surplus of money afterwards? The money has to be spent on those 4 propositions. If there's money left over in those 4 I would love the day that we can do something less expensive than what the engineer's estimate was. But But the idea is that we have to return that money as well too. By the way, we would utilize that money to pay down the bond of what we just borrowed because we didn't need the money in order to build what we were building, so.
Go ahead, Council.
Burgess, is there a motion on the floor or is?
There was no second motion. No second.
So,
All right?
Number 3.
Okay. One more question? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Neb. Thank you. So I just would like to reiterate, though, I know we keep saying if and when, and it's possible it may not happen until a couple of years if the bond is approved, but those if and whens are tied to the raising of taxes. And we're asking the community to believe that we will exercise restraint and look at where we're at comprehensively, but we're precisely in this position because we didn't do that. And I think we should, I do think people need to understand the entire impacts comprehensively and come to their decision on their own. But at some point, we need to hold ourselves accountable and exercise restraint and control in what we're asking of the community, what we're asking of the city, what we're asking of you, Mr. Neb, because we've also put you in this position. And you're not the only one if there's fall, it's not just you, it's us as well. And anyway, I'm just sharing that because I feel the frustrations as well.
All right, there would be one more question to legal. If, for example, we had the bond election a certain day and there was a tornado or hurricane that came by, will we still obligate the people to go and vote? How would you cancel it or postpone it?
I would, without more research on my own and then conferring with our bond counsel, I may not have an answer for that for you right now, but I promise to, if it's a memo I need to draft, we could definitely.
We'd like to hear about it.
Yes. That's an interesting question for our legislature to consider if they were to add another statute to this section.
So it can be postponed.
You want to start praying right now, or?
That's a point.
I'm surprised he wasn't prepared for that question.
No, he wasn't. All right. Okay. Next. Anything else? Thank you. Number 3. Discussion on the status of TCAQ enforcement and compliance 25C-48 requests associated with October 2024 water boiling notice.
Mayor, Council, Buzz Pishker, Interim Utility Director. There's a couple topics on the agenda that I may be speaking to tonight, so I've split up my presentation instead of giving you a big packet. So I want to hand out a couple slides and then I'll talk to each of them as they come up, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
You never know.
Go out and vote.
Well, we were testing him. Good job, man. Si no puedes
If you give me one, then I'll have one
no
also.
se puede sin preguntar.
There should be plenty. There's 15.
I tried.
Mayor, you raised the question about, the recovery from our event in October of 2024, and it's
Yes.
very timely, as you know, and you've received a citation, and I want to talk to that, but I thought I'd start off with kind of giving you a little summary of what's going on and how we're addressing our issues. What you'll see there is BPA's Backflow Prevention Assembly by Hazard, and this is an important point because when the event occurred, as you know, we had the TCEQ and their staff come out and they did a survey of a bunch of different locations, both residential and commercial. And so therefore, we had a mixed group of people that we had to address backflow preventers with. And some of those were residential, which would be typical irrigation. The others were high health hazards. So, but I want to make it clear that we've addressed those. And so some residents who had what are called non-health hazard situations, i.e. irrigation, did get letters, and we had to address those because they were part of that survey. So it was appropriate. But let the record be clear that the high hazard or the health hazard ones are going to be our focus, as I've told you in the past, and I'll talk a little bit about that, okay? At least for the foreseeable future. Clearly, we have inspectors conducting surveys daily. Some of those have been met with a little bit of negative feedback from some of our commercial operators and whatever, but we'll deal with that. That's all part of transition. Remember, we basically didn't have a program, and now we're walking our way into a program. Reminder letters are sent daily. The reason for that is each backflow preventer has to be tested on an annual basis, so each has a different birthday, right? So there's constant communication between our staff and the people who have these devices. The last bullet point I think is really, really important. In that group that we were kind of mandated to address, as I mentioned, there was 155 that were backflow assemblies that weren't being tested. As of December 1st, we had tested and made sure 560 backflows had been tested. So we're far exceeding the mandate and really getting into a program and doing what we're supposed to be doing for the residents. The mayor had also kind of asked, what did we learn? What's the lessons? What can we tell the public? Here's what I can tell the public. We got a letter giving, officially noticing us of the citation on March 31st. I think this is April 7th. I've already crafted the letter responding to that, telling them that we've already addressed every one of the items. There's 11 items already. And the message is very simple. We got a preliminary report when they did the survey. We didn't wait till the citation letter came to address the problem. That's a proclivity for some people. We've already completed almost every one of those, well, we have, by the time we got the citation letter. Now, what's that mean? It means two things. We're not sitting on our you-know-what waiting for regulation, because we have a responsibility to operate this system the way it should be operated for our residents. But the second thing it says is, when I send that letter to the regulators this week, they're going to be impressed, because they're going to say, gosh, we sent out a letter of violation a week ago, and we're going to get back a letter with beautiful pictures and everything we've done that said we've addressed it proactively. And I think that's going to bode very, very well for us. So for our organization, if I had to tell you what are lessons learned, we need to have a sense of urgency, and we've demonstrated that. And if there's anything I want to impart on this organization during my tenure here is, we should be proactive in doing right things, not reactive to bad things. And that's a culture that is learned, needs to be reinforced, needs to be demonstrated. And there's value to that, even for the people that have to do it. And so I think we're learning that. Teamwork. We now have people going out and addressing high bills and whatever, and guess what happened? Last week, we found 4 establishments because of our customer service people going out there and working on high bills that didn't have backflow preventers. Now they're going to get a letter and say, you need to get a backflow preventer. So, we're working together as a department, novel concept, but it works. And then the third thing is, I think we're all in getting it, that responsibility lies with everybody in our department. This isn't a customer service problem. It's not a backflow division's problem. It's our problem, because it affects our credibility. It affects this city's reputation. And I don't know a person, I hope, that wouldn't think that's very, very important, okay? So, and then the final thing I would say that I think we're learning is you do the fundamental things well, the big things don't happen, and you have more time and more money to do more of the fundamental things. And so those are the lessons learned, I hope, and I think they are, and I think we're going to demonstrate it when I send that letter out this week. And we're not going to put it behind us, you know. I've learned my Texas history. We still remember the Alamo because it had meaning, right? But we don't want to fight another one. And so we remember October, but we don't want to be there again, and I think we're getting it. And I think we've put in place some things that are keeping us from having that happen. So that's my report there.
All right, I do have a question.
Sure.
Based on the citations we received, would it have been a better idea to send what we did to repair before the citations? Or it wouldn't matter, we'd get citations anyway?
We're going to get the citation no matter what. And we'll be incredibly, they could have added something to it between the original survey and when we got it. They didn't. So we'll have it addressed. The other thing I would say to each of you, which I think is very important, we may well get a fine of some kind. In Texas, you have a wonderful thing. And as you know, I ran utilities in multiple states. You have a thing called supplemental environmental projects. And so when you get a fine, which I've had in other places, you can actually substitute projects in lieu of paying the fine. So we will find projects, and I can tell you that we've already got projects that will qualify to address that. So we won't get a financial impact, I don't believe, if they'll accept our SEP, which I believe they will. But more importantly, I think we'll make a significant impression on our regulators about who we are as an organization and a city as it relates to the water utility.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Buzz. Can you, at last meeting, we had asked of the how many 86,000 customers we have, roughly?
About 80.
80,000 customers. Of those 80,000, how many of them would this apply to as far as the backflow preventer?
Well, I would suggest it'll apply to our commercial customers because they will be in that category of being a health hazard. And we've probably got about 2,000 of those.
Okay.
That'll fit in there. I think we've got 6,000 commercial customers. So it'll be in that range.
But as far as residential goes, because
residential's, well,
it's like I'm asking.
We have 6,000 irrigation customers, and maybe that's the question you're asking me.
Yeah, basically the question, following up from last time, was kind of understanding the impact, because we know that this annual testing to hire a certified inspector for the backflow prevention could cost someone $150 to $250 per year to get the testing done.
Correct.
And we said that that's going to apply pretty much for every, I was under the impression it was just for those with the second meter for their irrigation system, but last meeting you said it was for anyone with an irrigation system.
Meters don't create backflow.
Right.
You need a device.
I understand. Yeah, I understand now, thanks to you. But my question was, how many of the 80,000, especially residential, how many of them will be getting a notice, requiring the annual testing, which again is a roughly $200 annual expense for people. So I'm trying to understand roughly how many people are impacted by this. I know it's needed because we've had this issue. I'm just, and I want to be prepared for the scale, because I've already been seeing the people upset about this thing they weren't aware of that they were going to have to do in light of our E. coli outbreak last October. Apparently this is something we were supposed to have them doing, but we just were not enforcing it.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get an idea, because I think a large percentage of the people in my district have irrigation systems. So I'm trying to get an idea how many people are going to be expected to have to do this.
There's two important points. We should have been doing this for years.
Right.
Okay? We weren't.
Right.
So be it. We are. And I'll reiterate, we're going to be focusing in the near term for sure on the health hazard, which are not irrigation meters. Now, It's hard for me to say that because they're all regulated and we all need to be in compliance for all of them. But I think we've been very clear to our regulators and the public that we're gonna focus on the highest potential health hazards and work our way up and down to that level.
Okay.
But the answer to your question is we have 6,000 irrigation accounts. For sure, all of those will need some kind of backflow prevention.
For some reason, I'm just finding it really hard to believe that we only have 6,000
Well, let me finish.
irrigation accounts.
Let me finish. Well, we do have 6,000 irrigation accounts. That you can make book on.
But is that the separate meters that we have, or is that?
Yes. Yes.
Because, for example, like, let's say some of the new homes being built, they all have irrigation systems, and they don't have 2 meters, and I don't think they have a separate irrigation account.
Then they won't, that's where I'm going. We have 6,000 that are irrigation customers, separate bill, separate billing. We have, I don't know, an unknown amount that don't have a separate billing and would still need a backflow preventer. That is gonna answer your question.
Yeah, that answer is going to be a lot higher than 6,000. So eventually, if someone can get that information, that would be great, just just have an idea of the gravity of this. And I agree we should be doing it, but we have to own that we weren't enforcing this. We have to say, hey, we screwed up. We weren't enforcing this, for over the years. And then we ended up with an E. coli outbreak, and now we're going to do it the right way. But just sending out these notices, and everybody's like, "What is this?" So it's people just get in the mail, and they're like, "Okay, I got to do this. I got to find one of these certified people. I got to pay $200 a year. I had no idea about this. What is this?" So it's just that's my main issue. Is I know it's the right thing to do, but we just getting it communicated to the people and owning that we, in the past, haven't been enforcing this like we should have. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. But thank you, Mr. Prischker. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Mayor, if I can, I want to make a motion to move item 1459, 59-1. It's related with utilities.
All right, Councilmember, Mayor, would you accept an amendment to add mine as well? It's also on the same realm, 59C2.
Might as well we have Mr. Pittsburgh up there, so
You accept it?
I'll accept it.
A motion is amended.
Second, sir.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
All right. Discussion with possible action and for an update on all new water lines and water line breakage of extensions and any other matters interested there too. Just a quick question, Mr. Buzz, just to find out where we're at with the lines that we're replacing. How many have we replaced? You started off, and the lines that how many lines have been breaking along a couple of short time that you've been here.
Well, I'm gonna pass out to all of you a copy of the infamous 69 streets that we identified initially as our highest break frequency by council district. Okay?
That works.
That works? That works. The message? By the way, there's something for everyone.
Great.
All right. And then I will pass out to each of you, and I apologize to the public for not having this in front of them, but I'll pass this on also. And I'm going to talk to both of those. The second handout I gave you has two things I want you to revert. In the second handout, go to the last slide, if you would. Okay?
They shouldn't.
While that's being passed out, Mr. Commissioner, one other issue about those notices is that it says that it has to be done within 15 days. And that seems kind of unreasonable.
Well,
but
I guess
Mayor.
Councilwoman, address the chair, please. Yeah, go ahead.
I just was curious.
We're back on backflow?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just really quickly, because I was just asking, is there a time frame? And so, Councilmember King mentioned that the city's giving residents about 15 days to
we want the residents to react and begin the process.
Yeah.
No one, typically, you're not gonna get it done in 15 days, and so we've struggled with that a little bit. We haven't shut anybody off for not complying with the 15 days, but we wanna make it clear. Remember, we're under, the ones that residential people have received are part of the initial TCEQ group, and we have to deal with those, and we have to be timely.
Correct. And I just was thinking, just as long as you have a plan, and I know you do, but I just, in terms of working with residents, and I think that might ease some of the,
We work for them,
yeah, oh, yes,
okay?
Yes.
We haven't forgotten that.
I love that. But anyway, I just think that'll ease some of the.
All right, so you should have in front of you the streets and the mains, and then you should have this sheet I'd like you to refer to. Because there's two things. As you know, we're starting up what I would hope to be an annual main replacement program. And as you know, you need money to do that. So the first item on that additional funding request, this is what we've accomplished in the last 30 days. We've applied for all of this low-interest loan and grant money. There's $22 million of grants, and there's a total of $129 million of requests. And it's multiple things. But the first item there is that Army Corps of Engineers assistance program for water lines that are,
Mayor, could we
Yes.
ask them to
Go
put
ahead.
this presentation on the screen? Or if it's possible, or, I know we have it, but just for the people.
can we put it, can I put it here? How's that?
Okay. Okay. We had two. Oh. Yeah,
Is Florida winning?
to be fair, we are.
All right, let me move it so everybody can see it. That's great, thank you. Anyways, here's what we've accomplished since our trip to Austin and of course our trip to Washington. But the Army Corps, Congressman Cuellar was instrumental in helping us get that. So that's the 20 million, that's item one. Then you can see we're going to try to get, we put in requests for meter replacements. We're putting in funds for a booster station and an elevated tank in South Laredo. PFAS, 1.4, drinking water and clear water. As you know, you've been reading about these forever chemicals, right? Well, we need to know what's in our water, and we can get money to do that. Unfortunately, late last year, we were asked to submit for funding and didn't get it done. So they reopened the window and we got in there. It was due by April 1st, so we put the full court press on and applied for that money. And then the last one is lead service lines, and our residents should be very interested in that. We're asking for funding to both do a more diligent survey of whether we have lead service lines, what the magnitude is, and whether they're on just the utility side or the utility side and the customer side. That's a significant amount of money. And by the way, the beauty of this one is if we get it or a portion of it, we're actually able to use the money to replace the residence section of the service line. And that's always a big issue because a lot of people can't come up with $2,000 or $3,000, but it's important. So we're able to use this money for both the utility side as well as the residence side. The last thing I'll say related to water lines, unless you have a question, is, go ahead. Go ahead.
The main lines that we have, are they cast iron, or, cause I see dulcet iron and cast iron. Are we changing it out different, or are we saying dulcet iron
No,
and changing it to cast iron, or?
the new material will be some kind of PVC or HDPE, which is high definition polyethylene. Those are the two materials of choice today.
Okay.
Okay? So the metal lines will be replaced with some kind of a plastic or non-metal piping. Okay? And then the last thing that I have brought you is some information on is As you know, we actually went out to bid for replacement of the first 3 lines on our list. Those bids came in, and we're reviewing them, and we'll be looking at either granting a contract or looking for a more cost-effective way of doing the main replacement. And I'll be bringing back to council our recommendation in very short order, next week or 2. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mayor,
Who's
sorry.
first? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to bring up item, go ahead.
It's about this. Mr. Fishker, I want to thank you for giving the public, opening their eyes to what exactly is going at the utilities. We know, especially with bond conversations, that comes up, where was the focus on our water line replacement? And I think we have known that under your direction, the Utilities Department has been putting together carefully crafted plans, not only to deal with water line replacement, but all of the other issues like the contamination control that were needed in order to meet those TCEQ requirements and really get our house in order, so that some of the, like the valve, also the valve turning program, some of the basic operations, so that we can ensure that the public water supply is safe. And that work has been ongoing, and that the Utilities Department has the ability to bond out on its own, so that there's money that it continues to be able to access and focus on these needed infrastructure replacements.
Sure.
But you've also understood the need for basic functions at the Utilities Department and setting up that map so that the future director of the Utilities Department will begin to follow through. And we as a council can make sure that we have oversight, so the enforcement of these basic functions continues, to ultimately avoid boil water notices to the extent possible, and ensure the safety and quality of water for the citizens. I think I mentioned this before when Councilmember King and I met with the TCEQ Commissioner Brooke Pop and yourself, that she expressed a lot of confidence in your ability to right the ship at the Utilities Department, and had a lot of trust that she shared with us in your ability to focus on those needed steps. So that, again, all of this is so that our water system can deliver quality water to our residents. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for giving insight to what is being done at the Utilities Water Department. We have not forgotten, as a council or as a city, the importance of water line replacement, and that is moving forward.
Thank you.
All right. Did you have a question?
Mayor, all I have is my item. That's up next, so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's for you or Ms. Maldonado, but let me go ahead and call it out. So it's item number 59C2, discussion with possible action on payment plan options and metrics used for suspending water services for customers in any matters incident thereto, co-sponsored by Councilmember Gilbert Gonzalez and Councilmember Ricardo Richie Rangel Jr.
All right.
The reason that this one came up, Mr. Fishker, I receive calls every so often, and there's been hundreds literally over the course of 4 years that I've been here. And people are purchasing homes or renting homes and apartments. And this last call that I got was a bill of over $3,200. And the person that purchased the home wasn't able to open up a service line because the staff wanted him to pay the $3,200 that was owed by the previous owner. And my question is, what metric are we using, or what are we using when we suspend services for it to get to $3,200 for a home? Your typical home, I'm assuming, is anywhere from $140 to $160 a month. So that's 24 months, just over 2 years, that people are lacking or not paying their bill. So just wanting to have, an answer to what we're using, if we have anything that we're using as far as a method.
Well, if you look at the first page of the handout I gave you, you'll see a discussion of what it entails to become delinquent in your water bill. You see that?
Right.
And I can walk you through that. I can tell you that if you put this on, this is our ordinance for deferred payment plans. And I can tell you that Through 5 months this fiscal year and 5 months last fiscal year, we've adjusted almost $500,000 in water and wastewater bills. Okay? I can tell you, based on that sheet, what's it say? There's 1,800 residents that owe $300 or more at this time. And I think it'll also show on there the times that we had payment moratoriums. And payment moratoriums, unfortunately, sometimes relate to people not paying at all and then not being able to pay when they owe the bill. I won't apologize, but I can tell you that I've just met a couple times with our customer service group. We need to get better at what we're doing. We do no resident a service by allowing them not to pay their bill. It doesn't get better. If you can't pay it $100, you're not going to be able to pay it at $500, and then you're not going to be able to pay it at $1,000. We need to do what we did at the hospital and what I think progressive utilities are doing. And I talked to you about giving a customer portal so you can see what's going on in your home and what's your usage. That's important. We're behind the curve. The meters we're installing will allow us to do that. But more importantly, in other places I've been, we created funding for people that truly have a need and can't afford to pay their bill. That's what conscientious people do, right? And in one utility I was at, we actually did a customer service line warranty plan like you've seen electric companies do. I started the second water utility service line warranty program in the United States. It's now owned by a company called HomeServe. They bought it when I was in Ohio. But more importantly, when I did that at another Texas city, because the council wanted us to look at that, we decided not to take any benefit from the city. A lot of times there's a little stipend that comes to the city for these plans. We then demanded that the provider of that provide a $75,000 fund that we could use to help people pay their bills. Now, I will tell you, I've yet to be at a utility that had people that had tremendous expertise in how to handle true need and people's true need. So we always outsource that to Catholic Charities or some of these other entities who know how to judge true need, because that's what we're looking for, right? We want the people that can pay. We want to keep the people current as we can, and we want to provide courtesy, and we want to provide resources to people who can't. We're lacking in all of those. So we're going to have to get our act together, and we're going to have to be very, I think, customer friendly and smart about it. But a person that's got a $3,000 bill has got a problem if they can't pay a $3,000 bill, if they can't pay a $200 bill. And to answer your question, we've had a couple of those complaints. In fact, I had a person stop in to see me last week. The problem was they had a past due amount on this account and then tried to put it in this name, and we transfer it. And I think Dora will tell you that. So if you didn't pay your bill on Maple Street and you want to move into a place on Olive Street, that bill follows you because you stayed in our system. So you won't get service there until you've remedied the problem on Maple Street. And some people don't understand that. And quite frankly, I'm not going to cast any aspersions, but sometimes people just don't understand that.
Okay.
But
Mr. Fisher, do we have people specifically assigned to this to disconnect?
Yes.
These services suspending? How many staff members do we have specifically on
We
that?
have 4 people every day who are starting to address the backlog we have. We have some backlog, as you saw, the most recent moratorium was to the end of 2024.
Right.
Okay, so imagine what's happened. Now we start to get serious about seeing what's going on. I've been concerned with accounts receivables since a month after I got here. I used to run customer service. It's my passion, okay? And so I understand it, and we made a little modification to our adjustment program just to make it more streamlined and easier to do. Because we can't have every adjustment come to the director. I mean, our people on the front line ought to be able to handle this stuff with good guidance. And then, the things that are unique, we have to handle unique. And Dora and their group do a good job. we need to give them better support and some better tools, in my humble opinion. And they'll do a great job with it.
Do you need, because this is obviously an issue, right, that we've been facing for several years now, even prior to COVID. Do you need more staff? Ms. Maldonado, do you need more staff to be monitoring this? Because it's an issue that hasn't gone away, and it's happening.
Well,
It's happened for years after year
Yeah,
after year.
but again, let's remember, it's a fundamental function. This is not something unique. We haven't written off an account in this city since as far back as I could find.
Okay.
Okay? That's unheard of. We have some accounts that have been owing us hundreds of thousands of dollars for 3 years that no one dealt with. Okay, we have accounts that someone's decided that Mary only pays $70 no matter what her bill is. Well, I went, time out. We can't do that. We don't have the right to do that, okay? Council sets the rates. We can't modify the rates. We have an adjustment program, which is ordinance. I can give you a copy of it, and we try to follow it. And we bend the rules when proper, situations occur and when people get behind, and sometimes they do fail on their payment program. The comment's been, as long as they give us some money and they want to continue it, the whole goal is to get them caught up and get them water service. That's our business.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
My question is,
Just to piggyback on Mr. Gutierrez, if you just bought a home or you're renting a new home, whoever's responsible, the tenant who buys a home, is gonna be responsible for that bill? Or do you just go in and just gotta present? What do you have to take? So you would say, I just bought this home, like the purchase orders or the rent documents, what do you have to take in?
The new resident, and I know Dora's here, is not responsible for your failure to pay the bill. Okay, that's not, I don't believe that to be true. I've never heard of that being the case anywhere, so I don't believe it's the case here. But if you have a problem at another account and you move to a new one, it's gonna follow you. And so you're not gonna be able to escape.
I think that was something along the line Councilman Gutierrez was trying to address.
Thank you. Thank you for looking into it. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Mr. Fisher.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
We'll do better.
Sure.
Mayor, we may continue with business. Motion to approve appointments to commissions, boards, and committees, number 1 through 13.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to open a public hearing to introductory ordinances.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Number 1, public hearing introductory ordinance amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by authorizing a special use permit for a tobacco shop on lot 7, 8, 9, 10, block 1372 Eastern Division, located at 2419 East Saunders Street, Suite 107, 1,379.04 square feet. The Plan and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the proposed special use permit, and staff does not support the application. Number 2, amending Article 3, Section 24.56.1, purpose, Section 24.56.2, general requirements, Section 24.56.3, time requirements for park improvement design and consideration, Section 24.56.4, special fund, 24.56.6, park and open space master plan consideration, 24.56.10, Appendix A and Appendix B of the Park and Dedication Ordinance in the Laredo Land Development Code, providing for publication and effective date. Number 3, ratification to authorize city manager to execute all necessary documents granting a 15-foot wide easement line wholly within a tract of land containing 152.0760 acres of land, more or less, being out of Lot 1, Block 1, Laredo International Airport Passenger Terminal subdivision, and 0.988 acres, more or less, situated in Porcion 27, Doña Maria G. Sanchez, original grantee, abstract 284, City of Laredo, Webb County, Texas. Said tracts of land conveyed to grantor on deeds recorded in volume 478, page 471, deed records of Webb County, Texas, and instrument number 795813, official public records of Webb County, Texas, Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date. Number 4, an ordinance of City of Laredo, Texas, authorizing the city manager to amend the City of Laredo fiscal year 25 full-time equivalent positions, listing by adding 3.5 customer service representatives, 202, for the purpose of providing ground handling services at the Laredo International Airport. The cost of these employees will be placed back on the airline through the current agreement with the company.
For or against? Need a quorum. Hold on just 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Got it? For or against? Yes. For or against? For or against? For or against?
Motion to close and introduce.
Second, all in favor? That's number 1. All right. Number 2, for or against, motion passes, by the way. For or against, for or against, for or against.
Motion to close and introduce?
Motion passes, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 3, for or against, for or against, for or against.
Motion to close and introduce?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Number 4, for or against, for or against, for or against.
Motion to close and introduce?
Second, all in favor? Opposed, motion passes. Number 4,
We just did number 4.
Just, council introduces, Mayor.
Motion, right, correct.
All right.
No motion, just council to introduce introductory ordinances. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
all right. Motion? No, 6?
I'm sorry, 5 and 6 only, correction, my correction.
5 and 6.
5 and 6 only, yes.
Any second?
No.
Okay.
No, just open up, that's it,
Oh,
yeah.
open
No
up.
motion, no motion.
Okay, no motion, all right.
Open up. Motion to approve final readings of ordinances 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Motion to approve consent agenda number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, pulling out number 23, approval for 24, 25, 26, 25, we'll exclude number 25 as well. Continue with approving number 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Number 40, we'll exclude number 40. To approve number 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and number 52.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Can you bring number 23, Mayor, please? My motion to bring up number 23.
Bring up number 23.
Second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. 23.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to know if, the consent agenda item of the supplemental would also be in that list?
You can amend that as well.
Just wanted to bring that up here.
All right.
Thanks, Mayor.
Motion is amended, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Back to number 23, Mayor.
23.
This is a number 23.
Yes.
Consideration for approval of fiscal year 22 ENG-01 City Institutional Network Fiber Extension as complete, including all warranty certificates and release of retainage in the amount of $34,991 to Facility Solutions Group, Corpus Christi, Texas, and approval of amendment number 2, which is an increase in the amount of $17,309, and an increase in the contract time by 236 days due to lead time and AEP to repair utility poles for new attachments. The final contract amount is $349,910. Funding is available in the Community Development Fund and Public Access, PEG funds. How are you? So my question to you, the only reason why we brought this one out, we've had issues with fiber companies here in Laredo that are causing damage to our property owners here. We want to make sure that this is not continuing with this company if it should be a company that's causing damage to our people. Have you all done that research on it?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fabio Rodriguez. I work for the engineering department. I think maybe the company you're referring to is different to this company that did the work for this project. I just want to show you really quick where the work was done specifically for this one. I don't know if this can be shown or not on the map. So this one was done through the poles, upper electric, like above ground. Not necessarily doing underground work like the other company is doing. So many times whenever they're doing underground work, they don't know exactly what's under it, and that's why there is a lot of disturbances. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, so these are above ground wires, correct?
Yes.
Pole to pole.
Right, well, I do,
Go ahead.
why, and again, I don't, Mayor, may I?
Go ahead.
Sorry. And I don't know if it's this company or not, but just in the conversations that we were having at one of the last council meetings, there are some issues with some of the above-ground, work in like the inner city, so I believe that District 4 had seen, had some concerns, and I've certainly seen some in the district, just that they leave wires on the rolls on the ground, and there are some issues. I don't know if that pertains to this item, but I know before we were trying to figure out who to contact and how to make sure we're, overseeing the work. So anyway, here it is, and I'm just curious if we can just make sure, we continue to
Mayor,
look for oversight.
Mayor, if I may. Yeah, Mr. Chavez, Mr. Rodriguez, it's just to have oversight over these companies, obviously, right? Because we've had issues with them, and you all know this very, very well. We want to make sure that we're not extending contracts with these people that have caused damage, or that are causing damage to our people's properties, and to make sure that we have somebody on them to make sure that they're doing their jobs correctly and not causing damage, because you all have gotten the calls, I've gotten the calls, legal's gotten the calls, just to be sure that if we're extending these contracts with these companies, they're not the same ones that are causing issues for our people.
Mayor and members of City Council, this was a project that we worked in collaboration with CDBG, and including CDBG funds. This was a design, build project that we had in South Laredo. It was mostly aerial along Highway 83, but then we did bore under TxDOT right away to get along Moon Lane, and then eventually to the El Recreational Center. So it's our fiber that we installed. We did have an inspector on site at all times during the course of this project.
Great, thank you so much, appreciate it. All right. Motion to approve number 23.
Motion, second. On favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Yes, go ahead.
Question 25, just if we could get some background and an explanation on.
Yeah, again, Fabio Rodriguez for the record. This project, we're recommending approval. This is for covering the gap for the funds, for the La Flecha Lane realignment and also Carlton Road regrade project. These two projects, they have been in the works for a long time. And by doing this change, it's gonna make more efficient the project, so, or the getting of the funds. Before it was a certificate of obligation, but now we're doing a direct loan, which should expedite the process.
Mayor, members of City Council, I can also elaborate on that. So this was part of our budget cycles where we had a funding gap for both of these projects on Flecha Lane and Carlton Road overpass. And it was a recommendation that we apply for a STIP loan, and that's why we did that. This is just an amendment that we had already brought an item to council approving this. This is just an amendment on some language that our bond council asked us to include.
All right, thank you.
Motion to approve number 25.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Number 40, right?
We pull out.
Number 40.
Requesting that we authorize a 5-year term contract for a total amount of $8,219,839.57 for the purchase of body-worn cameras, in-car video system, tasers, accessories, software, and operational services. And this purchase shall be done using the buy board contract number 74224. Funding is available in the 2024 Certificate of Obligation Special Police Fund and General Fund Police Department. Good evening, Chief Rodriguez. So I just have a quick question. Is any of this equipment the equipment that we're asking for through the bond? Just because it sounds similar, but
No.
yeah.
No, in the beginning, there was a need for it to be.
And for the record,
Jimmy Rodriguez for the record. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. In the beginning, there was a move to put this kind of item into the bond. Since the need became imminent,
we were able to talk to the company, which is Axon, and we were able to get a payment plan to the need that we have because of the fact that we have about 138 cameras that are no longer charging. We're out of compliance through policy for those officers that come in and say that they couldn't record an interaction with the public because of the cameras not being able to charge. So when we talked to our current provider, they pretty much were pushing us to do another 5-year contract with them. And at this point, that technology itself has not evolved whatsoever. So we went back and talked to our Axon partners and making sure, Axon vendor, to make sure that we were able to get this in payment plans rather than a lump sum of $8 million.
Okay, thank you. So it's not, none of this is?
No.
Okay.
No, none of it, none of this technology is on the bond. The only thing that was on the bond was the fleet, the buildings, and the cameras for the parks.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
Motion to approve?
Motion? Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion passes.
Mayor, motion open to staff reports. Number 53, anything to report?
53, and motion? We need a second on that?
Number 53, any second, yes, sir.
Motion is on the floor, any second? No second?
I need a second.
Second, okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Number 53. Who's gonna report on that?
Mr. Mayor, evening, City Council. Just wanted to touch base with the legislative body to see what you all wanted to do with regard to the appointment of this second municipal court judge position pursuant to the charter amendments that were recently made. I know you heard from my boss, Mr. Zone Nguyen, that we are asking for this governing body to come up with a process, whether that includes taking in applications for a certain amount of time, and then this governing body deciding who they wish to appoint for this municipal court judge position so that we can come into compliance with our charter.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
What I'd like to recommend is what was recommended the first time around, which is a 30-day open window for anybody to apply for the position, and then we'll make the decision after then to see who's most qualified for the position then. So my motion is to open it up for 30 days.
Second. Motion second. Go ahead.
So you're talking about, we discussed this a little bit last time. You're talking about opening it immediately versus opening it up later? Or did you intend for us to create whatever program we thought we needed to give you alternatives?
So this really isn't a decision for the legal department. Essentially, the legal department's recommendation is this spot needs to be filled sooner rather than later so that we can be in compliance with our charter. So we are leaving it up to the wisdom and guidance of this body to determine what is an adequate amount of time to collect applications, review those applications, and then have you, the legislative body, appoint who you feel is most qualified for this appointment.
Since we're discussing hiring a new attorney and that is your field, can I ask if we're looking to hire an attorney, how long would it be? Because, and they will be coming on full-time if I understand correctly.
Just for clarification, you mean a judge, correct?
A judge, I apologize.
No, it's quite all right.
So if an attorney pool, is that what we will be looking at when we're looking at appointing a judge? How long reasonably would it take an attorney to close out their private practice in order to be eligible to assume the judgeship? So that when it seems to me as if we were to proceed forward with 30 days notice and then assuming the judgeship soon after, despite being out of our budget cycle, that there would be an undue burden or it would limit our pool of applicants if we do not allow sufficient time for attorneys who are practicing privately to close out their client list, finish up the cases that they are currently working on, and then be able to apply for this position and assume it in a time frame, right? What is a reasonable amount of time for an attorney to close a private practice. And not that it would happen, we would have to wait for that attorney to close the practice and then he can apply, or she, but to allow time for a private attorney in current practice to close their practice while they're applying for this position.
That is an excellent question, and I'm going to preface my answer with, I've been practicing law for 11 years, and I've been a public servant for all 11 years. I've never had a private practice, but what I can tell you, based on my knowledge of the legal profession here in Webb County, this would be the same decision for anyone who would even want to run for the position. There's other things to take into consideration as well, just not closing out a client list, but it's also, will you be taking a pay cut if you become a public servant? And the answer is possibly yes. Absolutely. Because anyone, absolutely, thank you. Anyone who wants to work in this position is going to have to give up their law practice. So that is, I would feel that is probably the most important consideration for anyone wishing to apply. As far as a client list is concerned, they can pass up those clients to other attorneys, or their clients can go find other legal representation. But there's a whole host of things that are going to have to go into this decision by an attorney, and it boils down to who wants to serve in this capacity. And those that wish to serve are going to do whatever they can to make it happen.
Well, with that in mind, then, it seems logical that we would allow a little bit more time for people to not only consider and weigh their options, but do justice to the cases that they're currently working on, which would allow them a little bit more time to close these cases or find other attorneys to handle them if they think that they cannot finish it within what I would imagine would be longer than 30 to 60 days. And at the same time, not undo our budget preparation for this year. So if we were to extend this to October, that would allow us to cycle into the next budget cycle, not upend our own budget process, and allow for a wider pool of applicants, because we would allow for attorneys who have private practices to do their due diligence. And so I would ask my colleagues to perhaps consider an amendment to extend this time frame so that we can meet those needs, expand the pool of applicants, of attorneys, and then also fit into our next budget cycle.
Mr. Mayor, may I respond to that?
Yes, go ahead. What is the time allotted right now?
There is no time. That is for this body to decide and to make a decision after that time period. But what I will say in response to Councilmember Cigarroa's I guess statements, and I mean, that is very conservative, and I'm sure that a lot of attorneys who are thinking about this position would agree with you. But as your legal counsel, I will say that it is imperative that we comply with the terms of our charter as soon as possible.
Mayor,
That would be my only concern to your comments.
On a human resource side as well too, let me add, this is asking the city council to consider the start of the process. So if we open it up for 30 days, if we receive no applicants, we're gonna have to open it up for another 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. This is actually the start of the process. Once we select the candidate, whoever would be the appointee for that starts another conversation. By the way, we have our utility director selected. He's ready to start. However, he's ready to start at the end of May because he has other obligations to get here. And so within the HR system, we've established that. And so he's going to go and complete all the other work that he's doing and then join us at the end of May. We were able to work that way. I would probably say that that's what the city council is going to do with this. If that individual, that attorney that says, I'm happy to serve as the judge, the best candidates you have, he says, I need 30 days to close out my practice, or I need 45 days to close out the practice. You don't want to lose that opportunity out there. So it's really to accept in the applications. But I know we went out there twice for engineers because we didn't get enough candidate pool from the first time go around as well too. The whole request that we have today is let's get this process started and let's start seeing who is interested in what we're doing.
Yeah, hold on. Before we get an idea of how long it would take
would have to have some input from some attorneys, or would you have an input on that?
Would I have an input? I couldn't say, Mr. Mayor, it would just be speculation at best. Again, I've never had a client list before.
And we don't know how long it would take.
Go ahead.
By any chance, Mr. Supervisor, is there anybody interested within the same realm or within the same facilities of the judges?
Mayor, City Council, we didn't go out and solicit from the associate judges that we have two of them that are serving over there right now. We did not solicit any kind of, are they interested in that or not? Because it needs to be, because it's an elected official appointment, it needs to be appointed by this body, not, and so I would hope that, because they understand our system, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
If they understand our system, they would make very good candidates because they've already know how the system is operating within that. But as far as going out there saying, are you interested or not, we've not done that.
They haven't approached you as.
And they have not approached us either, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like there's very, very few lawyers in the community that, and a certain type of person that would be interested, because it's typically an elected position. So there's only one, until November of this last year, there's only been one in the city of Laredo at a time. And then they're 2 4-year terms. So people are thinking 4 to 8 years down the road on whether or not this is something they might want to do. And the type of person that's interested in this, position is pretty limited within the legal community, I believe. So ever since this passed the charter in November, which was now, 4 months ago, it's been on anyone who might be interested in one day being a municipal court judge. It's been on their radar for the last 4 months, and if I put myself in their shoes, I would be coming up with contingency plans on whenever this opens or when it becomes a thing. Am I going to run a campaign, or am I going to have an application? So I don't think that this is something being sprung on people. The people that are actually interested in this are probably acutely aware, and regardless of if it's 30, 60, 90 days, I think it's going to be roughly the same type or pool of people. So, personally, this is something this council hasn't had to do because, this is the first time this has happened. This will be the only time, God willing, that we have to appoint a municipal court judge. Because the next time they'll run for their election. So this is just us going forward with our charter obligation that happened in November. If we're not happy with how the charter amendment was written, that's our fault for not addressing it last year. So my view is we should move forward as advised to fill the position as per our charter. And you can't go back to last year and say, oh, I wish we would have planned for this better. The fact is that there's a vacancy.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to make a motion, open up for 30 days and continue. Oh, you make the motion? Yes, sir. All right. Just second the motion.
It's seconded by Dr. King.
Okay, you have a motion in the second?
The post amendment by, Councilwoman Sierra.
Yeah, so I don't believe I received a second, but my amendment was just to try to fit it into our next budget cycle. Regardless of the fact that it did pass it in November, I don't see how we are grossly in violation of our charter if we are programming this to follow our regular budget cycle. And my concern, how many, if I can ask Mr. Nebb, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars will it take to stand up a new municipal court?
Mayor and City Council, and I did put this into a previous email for what it's going to be. We believe that the first time costs are going to be right around $400,000. There's a $50,000 price tag for building out the office complex, and then of course the salary itself, when you put in the salary plus the benefits, is right around the $200,000 mark. So I think on the low side, $250,000. More realistic, it's going to be probably $350,000 to $400,000 a year within the operation of that. So.
And Mr. Nebb, was any of that already programmed into our budget?
No, ma'am. It is not programmed in the budget. We would actually utilize the reserves or the other cash that we have already built into the budget to move over to help solve this issue out there. But We did not know, of course, when we established the budget, we did not even know that the referendum was going to pass when it did. So the budget was approved before the referendum was done.
So again, it comes back to this idea that if we were to wait a few months after this extensive budget workshop, where we discuss the importance of budgeting and planning for these expenditures, if we were to begin to address this in our new budget cycle, how are we grossly in violation of a charter when the proposal was to add an elected office, understanding that elections have cycles and that our current municipal judge, that position would be open this coming November. So while I understand that maybe on its face, it's not fulfilling the charter needs, it also doesn't exist in isolation. It exists with the understanding that our municipal judge election was occurring this October. So I don't understand the urgency, but also at the bare minimum, I would ask that we follow good budgeting by allowing this to be absorbed in just a few months. This isn't a long time, just to allow our next budget cycle to absorb these costs so we can better plan and not have to withdraw money from a reserve that we were told we would already need to increase to be fiscally sound agents of that budget.
If I may?
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Neves, is it not true that there's already 3 temporary courtrooms in Mayor Street or on the?
The costs that we put together were actually, they came from the municipal court, from our director over there, within that conversation as to what they were going to need to equip for that. So, if there's rooms over there, I'm assuming that they're going to remodel one of those rooms for that purpose.
But there's already 3 courtrooms, right?
I believe so.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so to address that issue itself, as far as the courtrooms, yes, there are 3 extra courtrooms on top of the one with the main judge there. So the facility's already there. Now, whether an office is there for the new judge, that may be the difference, right? As far as the cost, municipal court brings in way more than $400,000 what it may cost, to $350,000 monthly. They bring in more than that. So I don't think there's an issue when it comes to. As far as the time frame, if we should start the process now, let's say we wait 30 days from now to get the applicants to come in, we make a decision and he or she asks, giving me 4 months to close out my cases, that's something we're gonna need to work on. And the person that we pick is gonna need to work on that at specific scenario. So we may be coming into the next fiscal year already, we may be in October, but fact of the matter is we need to pick somebody now, or as soon as possible, that way he or she can make the plans to close out her cases, or his cases, depending who the individual that is chosen at the end.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may respond to one thing that Mr. Net brought up, the charter says that we have to have a second judge. It doesn't say a second judge and a similar size office as the one previously. So what I'm saying is that some of those things, to Councilmember Cigarroa's point, some of those things can wait for the next budget cycle, but a second judge existing at this moment needs to happen to satisfy our charter obligation.
All right.
Mayor, last question.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, sir, motion and a second.
And a second. We need to call for the question. Call for the question. Can you repeat the motion, please?
The motion was to open for 30 days to receive applications. There was a motion by Councilmember Gutierrez, second by Councilmember Dr. Tyler King.
All right. All right, call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Motion to go into executive session for items number 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58.
Motion second, all in favor? Opposed?
Texas Government Code 551.071A1, 551.072, 551.071A.
All right.
What else? 551.071A and 551.087, and any other staff deemed necessary.
Okay.
Mayor?
Motion?
Could we include Chief Rodriguez in one of the discussion items?
Any staff is deemed necessary, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Motion, second.
Motion is amended as, and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Executive session. Back to regular session. No action was taken on executive session.
Mayor, if I may,
Go ahead.
on number 54, we'd ask staff to just continue as directed. Number 55. Same to continue as directed on number 55 as well.
Got your motion?
Yes, that's my motion for number 54, to continue as directed.
a second. Second on that?
Second, 54 and 55?
54 and 55.
54 and 55.
Can
Second.
we separate that, please?
Yes. For number 54, for staff to continue as directed.
Second on that?
Motion on number 54, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
On number 55, Mayor,
Second.
also to continue as directed with staff.
Number 55, motion,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We already voted.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
On number 50, what am I on now? 56.
56.
Station about attorney.
I was just saying, what, say.
Yeah, that same thing, to continue as directed as well for number 56.
Second that?
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Number 57, same, continue as directed
I'll
with staff.
second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And number 58, for staff to continue as directed.
Motion second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
Mayor, I have my item, number 59C1. Discussion with possible action to authorize the use of Sames Auto Arena for the 12th Annual Driscoll Health Plan Back to School event and any other matters thereto, co-sponsored by Councilmember Gilbert Gonzalez and Councilmember Ricardo Richie Rangel Jr.
Second that.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, question.
Mr. Neff, I know we were discussing the use facilities and work across the city. And do we have an estimation about what this costs the city?
Mayor and City Council, I don't have that with me tonight, but I know that since it's the 12th, I think that's what we're looking at. We will have those numbers in there. Whether or not we're able to waive portions of it or we're sponsoring portion of it, that'll be the difference within that. So, but I'm not sure what those numbers were for that event itself.
This is an event that happens yearly.
It's happened for 12 years in the arena, and so I think that's why we're comfortable with actually moving forward with it. But I can't tell you because there are certain costs that we do collect for. It's just, it comes out of their fund within the arena, and then there's certain costs that we won't be charged for.
So this is something that the arena does do some, I guess, subsidy, for want of a better word?
They have done, that's how they cover these types of expenses, and so this one would be one to match within that.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, there was a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Mayor, in my second item, 59C2, discussion with possible action, oh, right, I was already taken care of, sorry. And for number 3, I'm sorry, we're gonna go and table number 3. The team is out in New Braunfels competing right now. We'll table that for the next meeting.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't know if the public hearing introductory ordinance on the supplemental was read.
Not yet.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes,
Bring up number 59E2. This is Mayor Pro Tem's item.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
This is discussion with possible action to submit a resolution supporting the Tech Dot Mines Road FM 1472 Segment 1 feasibility study from I-69 West to 2 miles north of FM 3338, expressing the urgency and critical need for the improvements and supporting the preferred alternative 3, which provides the best performance in level of service, row acquisition, and building impacts. Also clarifying support for Segment 2 schematic from 2 miles north of FM 3338 to SH 255, and to submit by April 9th for inclusion in the official public meeting record in any matter thereto, co-sponsored by Mayor Victor Trevino, Councilmember Ruben Gutierrez, and Councilmember Ricardo Richie Rangel.
Mayor and City Council.
I'm sorry?
I just moved, to move it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mayor and City
I'll second
Council,
that.
Mr.
Motion
Chavez, Assistant City
Second.
Manager,
No,
City
question.
Engineer has the information, but we approve of the way this is written. We did provide today a draft resolution for that work, so we would, I guess we support moving forward with this item.
Okay,
Mayor.
motion, second?
Yes,
Go
Mayor. Could we hear what the final
Certainly.
result was?
Do you have
What
the
the
ability
alternative, what the preferred alternative 3 was, because I know that there were several.
can you show them that alternative? Yeah. Thank you.
I apologize, Mayor, I have to grab it real quick.
All right, go ahead. We'll just put it on the Friday packet.
We're almost done.
We actually sent it out a little bit earlier today
Before,
because
yeah.
we had received the information. I wanted to make sure you had it in your hand anytime that we have something ready to go.
All right, okay.
We have a motion second already.
That's gonna take long.
Well, the idea is to find out what we're voting for, and not really us, but for the public to understand. Because there were 3 alternatives, people did go to these meetings, they were there for the discussions about the different alternatives. So I think it would be a good idea to let them know what the final outcome was.
And the challenge we have is that, of course, we need to do this tonight if we're going to get it done because April 9th is 2 days from now in order to provide the support letter for TxDOT.
For TxDOT, right, correct.
I thought there was an April 9th on this information that.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Ramon Chavez, City Engineer, apologize for that, but
Go ahead.
here is the segment that aerial view for the study that we're looking at from I-69 West to 2 miles north of FM 3338. And there's been a series of public meetings through TxDOT, 3 of them, the last one on March 25th. And so there's been a process for all this, and we support that process. As part of that, these were the alternatives that were presented through this public notifications and meetings that we had. So the recommendation is, again, for the segment 1, I-69 West, 2 miles north of 3338, with the preferred alternate number 3, which is this one. And you can see how you have the overpass that will go on top. And one of the things that we were looking at is, as you can see, the driving lanes, we will be within those segments as well. As far as the segment from 2 miles north of 3338 to SH 255, we're looking at the segment number 2 schematic. And so that's what we have before you, Mayor, so that the people use this information to make those decisions. And you can see here, if you take a closer view, how the proposed right-of-way varies, but we're looking at the existing right-of-way, so there'll be right-of-way acquisition that would be part of this process, along with other improvements as well for building impacts and the level of service.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for the question already. All right, call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor, can I go back to the supplemental agenda to open up and approve public hearing introductory ordinance number 1?
All right, supplemental agenda.
Number 1, an ordinance approving an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a state infrastructure bank loan agreement, approving the levy and tax for payment thereof, and approving certain matters related thereto.
Yes, it's, for or against, for or against, for or against.
Motion to close and introduce, Mayor.
Motion, second.
Mr. Hebb, what is the loan agreement for?
I'll leave that to Mr. Chadwick for the SID
Yes,
loan.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, this is related to item 25, which we looked at earlier. And this is something that City Council approved back in August of 2025, that approved a resolution authorizing the filing of these applications. Our financial advisor has asked us to just include some language there that was pending, and so that's the reason that this is coming back, but we recommend approval.
All right.
Motion to close and introduce.
Motion,
Second?
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Mayor, if I may, on the supplemental agenda 7A, I'd like to motion to table.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Mayor, we can open up consent agenda on the supplemental agenda from the city manager's office, Mr. Joseph W. Yeah.
We already, those were all approved.
Those are all approved already?
Yes, sir.
Started again.
You're out of work.
I think we are done then, so, motion to adjourn.
Motion, second, all in favor? Opposed, meeting adjourned.